And then people got naps. When you say it's just the government, like, oh, I don't hate the country. That argument, I just hate the government. Like, I hate the American government. It's like, not me. I don't even like the people that live there, actually, at all. And it's not because they're Jewish, it's because they're terrible and they like to rape people. Watch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A culture that's like, is that based or not based pro rape like soldiers? I don't even know actually. I don't know if I'm going to mess up the talking point here. The point is I don't know if they're like very nationalistic and we're supposed to respect them, that they hate their enemies more than anything. But I don't understand like why people support this country. Christians in particular support this country because of I believe just weird Zionist doctrine from the evangelical and non-denominational movements that came in, of course, and sort of pressure them. You know, my background is Calvary Chapel, and I was trained to love Israel. Like, it was weird. It was like I have pictures on my Instagram. My apartment, we have an Israeli flag. And one day I asked them, like, why do we support this country? And no one even knew why. And there's a lot of Christians who actually think that they're the chosen people, and they don't realize that God chose them because Jesus died on the cross. The covenant is now through Christ. So they actually think like Jews are better than them. I think that we have a fundamental issue that goes beyond government in our society, where even like a lot of the evangelical Christians, who by the way are better people than me, more moral people than me, so I'm not going to throw the evangelicals on the bus, but I think we got to get from what they say hate from. We've also got to get this doctrine out of our churches. Don't support the people that rape prisoners. Don't support the people that are going to put poor kids on the ground to be raped and killed. Like, we've got to reform the Christian church as well. I don't know if you touched on it. Well, you're Catholic. Catholics are based on all this stuff, in my opinion. Shout out to Catholics. The Orthodox, too. Screw the Orthodox as well for reforming the philosophy. But yeah, I mean, we have a fundamental problem. That's all I want to touch on. It goes beyond government. Our society is corrupt, and they're being brainwashed into supporting Israel. It's like, how do you undo that? It's like kind of like fighting Muslims. How do we fight Christian? How do we fight Christian heresies?
Well, I think, in my view, this is something that a lot of people fixate on, and it's definitely a leverage point. I think that's how you have to recognize it, because what that represents is basically a voting bloc. That there is a large number of white evangelical Christians in the South and in other parts of the country also, but predominantly in the South, and they are basically the constituency for a pro-Israel GOP. And so I know that Tucker Carlson and others have really honed in on that, which I think is smart. I think that's very strategic thinking, because if you can persuade this large number of evangelical Christians that the theology is wrong, and even just point out some of the logical errors in that and chip away at that, that is actually hurting the constituency that is voting for this all the time. Maybe even the only remaining reliable constituency that's pro-Israel. So I think that's a pain point. That's definitely a leverage point and a pain point for the pro-Israel cause in America. However, I think that is as much as you can say about it. I think it's a little bit overstated. When people, I think, for example, Tucker is targeting that for that reason. I think other people like to talk about evangelical Christians as sort of a convenience statistics. And we all know why. We all know what I'm talking about. When you see that our government is plunged into a war for Israel against Iran, who is naturally to blame? Well, Israel. And you look at Israel, that's a foreign country. How is Israel getting America to do this? Well, Israel has its tentacles in America, and those tentacles are American Jewry, American Jewish billionaires, American Jewish organizations. And so people don't want to take it there. They don't want to say it's American Jews, it's Israel. We don't like the way that that sounds. It's a ethnic and religious minority, so it sounds a certain way, it comes across a certain way, it's a taboo. And so I think for some people, they like to scapegoat the evangelicals because we're used to blaming white people
Oh, is this live?
So
What the heck?
well, it's actually really
I'm not supposed to be live yet. I don't know why it went live without me telling it to. Whoops. If you guys didn't hear me, hear me in the restroom. You didn't do anything weird. Well, I know this mic was I know this mic kind of picks up a lot, and I was just taking a dump. Thought maybe you heard that. I don't even know if this is happening. I don't have the stream key thing yet. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it. I'm going to mute the desktop audio so that we can't hear them when I go in the back real quick. Yeah, a little more casual tonight. Hopefully this pen writes. Keeps not writing when I need it to write. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to mute here so you can't hear them. Cool. Couldn't hear you. Now I can hear you. What's up? Yep. I know. I just don't have any like cups. So it's free. I just saved my jars that I have anyway from pickles and whatnot. No, I got message this morning asking if I can do a call with Ward War for that series they're doing. And I asked them to call me tomorrow morning because I was like just about to fall asleep. But you didn't do an application. Yeah. You could You couldn't leave that blank? Huh. Oh. Hmm. Yeah. I didn't even think about it, but I'm not really that worried about it. But I get it. I'm going to bend my pen and not break it. I saw that on TikTok or something. Yeah, I just saw it on a YouTube short, and I thought it looked way cooler. No, I do have pen all over my hand. Mhm. When you walk away, yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm. About time. Yep. I think you just muted. Did you mute or did I? Hold on, I can't hear you now all of a sudden. Oh, I hit. Hello? Hello? Oh, now I can hear you. Okay, we're good. Yeah. The cord came loose. But I need them cuz I always trip on my cord, so I got to have it. Yeah. And then I break the headphones and I have to get new ones.
closings. You'll go first again, and JS will get the last word on closings.
Yep, sure.
All right. Awesome. All right. Good luck, boys. Let's get it.
Let's do it.
Warning. The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a website like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire, criticism, review, and news reporting.
Step up, step up! Yeah! We clash! We clash! We clash! We clash! Yeah! Step in the arena, mind locked and loaded. Truth on my blade, every line's exploded. You swing your words, I counter with precision. Battle of reason, this is my mission. Raise your fist, let them know. No. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo! We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Step back, I'm a scholar and a fighter. Every claim you throw, I strike tighter. Logic and power, I never fold. In the war of words, I'm solid gold. Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. Ideas ignite like lightning through the night. In the war of minds, we bring the light. Step in, feel the heat. Truth is my weapon, never beat. Raise them high, break the ceiling. With a fire, with a feeling. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason.
Welcome, everybody, to Swords of Reason right here on the Speakeasy Show, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. If you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for their opening statements, followed by a 5 minutes of uninterrupted rebuttals. After that, we will move into a full hour of back and forth. This is where the arguments can clash and the iron sharpens the iron. After that, we will move into the 5-minute closing statements where each side gets to lock in their case. And when that's done, we move to a 30-minute Q&A. I have already put the Q&A in the chat, so keep in mind, though, the Super Chats, PayPals, and Cashapp questions do get priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get answered. So if there's something you want guaranteed to be asked, make sure you send it through one of the priority options. And once the formal debate wraps up, we open the doors for the Chaos and Chill panel. This is where the community can hop in, challenge the debaters, ask follow-ups, keep the topic going. But for the debaters, it's if they choose to stick around, because that part is optional for them. But it's always where things get wild regardless. Today's debate prompt is, should we abolish ICE? And for the debaters today, for the affirmative, we have Wrath of Reason, a familiar face across the online debate circuits here, known for regularly stepping into open panels and never shying away from a tough argument. Whether the topic is politics, philosophy, or culture, he's built a reputation for showing up ready to engage. And now setting his sights on streaming full time, he's looking to take that same debate energy and bring it to his own growing platform. You can find his channel linked in the description below. So make sure you guys go show some support. And for the negative, joining us today is jsurbanadventures, host of a lifestyle streaming channel where he dives into everything from hobbies to culture to breaking down major news stories through political, philosophical, and theological discussions. Along the way, he's built a reputation for his UFC fight reviews, spot-on character impersonations, and what many viewers call the coolest Bible study on YouTube. With that being said, we are going to get into opening statements. Wrath of Reason, you're up first. So whenever you're ready for your opening statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Awesome. Well, just want to first kick it off by saying thank you to Speak for hosting the debate. Awesome. JS for accepting the debate. I know it's kind of a weird topic. A lot of people kind of look at it and what are we looking at here? So I'm going to kick off starting with this is in no way, shape, or form try to abolish the actual the enforcement of immigration and customs. What I do believe has happened over the last 6 months, and everybody can see, is that ICE has almost become the laughingstock of a nation. The unprofessionalisms, just looking at their demeanor, has really shown their lack of training and who they are to be a federal agent. Where do we start off with that? So when you take an inexperienced guard and you put them out into the streets and you're trying to round up criminals and you become against a little bit of resistance, it really shows your professionalism in your training. I believe ICE is way too undertrained. They need to be trained a lot more. And I believe we should just abolish ICE as a whole. And it should be taken into the hands of the two owners of it already, which is your Department of Homeland Security. Sorry, the nerves are getting me a little bit. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. If you're going into neighborhoods and enforcing, your name should be feared. You should not be walking in and having protesters standing against you. I believe that if it was the FBI, the Homeland Security, I think those names would stand for themselves, and your only backup from them would be the military. So if you do want to protest and stand in the streets, you now have the military to back you. Just to get onto a little couple easy facts to go along with why I believe they're undertrained, just to become a federal agent who can have a gun, full rights to every military weapon possible that they can occur on the streets, you need 14 weeks of training. So to put that into its perspective, that is a third training to even become a state officer. So how does that make any sense when you become a federal officer after 14 weeks, but to become a state officer, you need to go 44 weeks? Something just doesn't line up there. I think the training needs to be a lot more extensive, and you need to be able to know your surroundings. You need to be trained for a lot more things than just being a border patrol guard, or even just we had jail guards coming off the street to come out and stop riots. Like, we've seen videos. I think people have put themselves in a very bad situation, and I think that's where the bad things occur. But I believe if they were doing it more professionally and actually just going in, doing their job, and getting back out, instead of stopping people, messing with people, and doing the job that they aren't intended to do, they wouldn't be in the situation they're in at the same time either. I'm going to wrap that up. I'd rather get back to the meat and potatoes of these things, so I'll just
All right. All right. Thank you for that opening statement. And with that, we're going to give the mic over to JS. JS, whenever you're ready for your opening statement, I'll start the timer up with your voice.
All right. I addressed some of the things that you said in my opening. My opening's pre-written, so I'll do most of the rebuttaling in the rebuttal segment, but I get to some of what you said in this opening, so it'll be fine. All right. Similar to the abolish the police movement of 2019 and 2020, in 2026, we are starting to see a rising movement towards abolishing ICE. This is currently one of the most progressive, aka regressive ideas in the socio-political sphere. This is a movement being led by the likes of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Pocahontas, aka Elizabeth Warren. Although I realize that abolishing ICE has occasionally been brought up in legal circles, the public popularity of this concept stems primarily from orange man bad idealists, false media propaganda, and low IQ useful idiots protesting and causing chaos in the street. Before I give my arguments for why ICE is currently necessary in America, I want to give the audience a bit of history on the matter that my opponent may or may not have touched on in his opening. Although young, dating back to only 2003 as a result of the Homeland Security Act of 2002, the roots and functions of ICE date back to shortly after the founding of our country. Many roles of ICE have been enforced for over 200 years. We can find mention of its legislation from Alexander Hamilton's proposals to authorize collection of import taxes and custom fees in the Federalist Papers of 1787. These laws are codified by the Tariff Act of 1789. Over the lifespan of America, we have seen many changes to immigration, customs, and border laws that protect us internally and externally. The Immigration Act of 1891, the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, and eventually the Homeland Security Act of 2002, leading to the largest restructuring of federal government in American history and the consolidation of 22 agencies under the Department of Homeland Security, which included dissolving the INS and creating ICE. These were all points of interest in our history that informed our current situation. Knowing these things will be important in this debate. Now for my arguments against abolishing ICE. I'll start with looking at the structure of ICE. Most people arguing for abolishing ICE are really just mad about the ERO, or the Enforcement and Removal Branch or Directorate. This is only one and arguably the smallest function of ICE. Abolishing ICE would not simply put an end to mass secret police kidnapping innocent abuelitas from taco trucks. This drastic action would also end the HSI, or Homeland Security investigations, which focus on transnational crime online and abroad, human trafficking, drug smuggling, child exploitation, financial fraud, and customs and tariff enforcement, which is more important than ever right now under Trump's new tariffs. We would also be abolishing the largest legal program in the Department of Homeland Security, the OPLA, or Office of the Principal Legal Advisor, who handles all legal representation for ICE. Any emotional appeals to ICE being over-aggressive, secret police, violent, or unconstitutional due to media coverage of the current ERO's actions will be unfounded and fallacious, because ICE is much more than just the ERO. Abolishing ICE would be ridiculously challenging simply on a logistic level. My next argument is a practical position relating to the harms reduced through mass deportations and the actions of ICE. A vast majority of women and girls who cross the border illegally face rape and severe violence. My opponent could argue that this is a Border Patrol issue, and he would be partially correct. But for the girls and women who make it through, many of them are exploited and trafficked, which is one of the primary crimes being combated by ICE, specifically the HSI. The HSI also deals with drug smugglers who utilize points of entry to transport 80% of the illegal opiates into the United States. Another major issue is crime coming from violent gang members from groups such as Tren de Aragua and MS-13. These smugglers, traffickers, and criminals are tracked and investigated by the HSI, but these investigations are useless without enforcement and removal operations, which focuses on detaining and deporting said criminals. These are very important operations that we need now more than ever in this country, which brings me to my final argument. As I alluded to earlier, my opponent would also have a decent argument, would almost have a decent argument against the necessity of ICE if he argues that a strong border patrol, like the one we currently have under Trump, would render ICE obsolete. Unfortunately, for the 4 years leading up to Trump's second election, Joe Biden left our border essentially wide open to 7.8 million illegal immigrants at the low end. I believe the number to be much higher, more like 20 to 30 millions. Because of this dire situation, we have to take dire measures to ensure the security of our homeland. The border has already been breached and the enemy is inside. This is where our current ICE overhaul comes in. The ERO may be masked. They may act aggressively. We may be hiring less than perfect officers and giving them less training. And I understand that this seems like a problem, but it's the best solution we have to deal with a 4-year invasion. Biden's open borders have crippled school districts, increased housing costs, cost taxpayers somewhere between 125 at the low end and as much as 400 billion with a B a year, contributed to an explosion of overdeaths in our opioid crisis, and led directly to the deaths of many innocent American citizens, especially young women like Rachel Moore and Jocelyn Nungary, Laken Riley, Katie Abraham, and many, many more would still be alive today if we had had an ICE that were able to do their job. So this argument does basically just tie in with my second pragmatic argument, but instead of simply focusing on the usual job description of ICE being needed, I would argue we must do it now, stronger and faster, because of the situation Joe Biden put us in, even if we make some mistakes along the way, because if we don't, we lose America. In trying to predict my opponent's arguments for this debate, I couldn't think of many. I've come to this debate expecting complaints with no solutions. Any valid solution will generally be equivalent to reform or dissolving and transferring ICE agencies to other branches to do the same job under a different name. Here's the plan. We'll abolish ICE, fire them all, but rehire them at Customs and Border Patrol and to local police departments with special immigration units. We'll keep all the lawyers and just rename the OPLA. Great plan. Or maybe we just need to abolish the name ICE, but we keep everyone around to do the work that they were already doing, and we call it NICE. Semantics will be important here because abolishment is not the same as defunding, dismantling, and reforming. Once we agree on our definition of abolish, this is what my opponent will need to demonstrate to me to win this debate. A plan. A well-formed policy plan to demonstrate a desired outcome and fill in holes left in our legal system that were previously filled by members of ICE. You can't just say abolish ICE without telling me what we do after that. And that's it.
All right. Thank you very much for that opening statement, JS. That's going to wrap up opening statements. We're going to move into the rebuttals. Okay. So this will be not a back and forth yet, just 5 minutes for each of them to respond to their opponent's opening. So we're going to hand the mic back to Wrath of Reason. Whenever you're ready, Wrath of Reason, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Absolutely. So we'll kick it off with he started to touch on my link and the way I wanted to go with my debates there at the end of his. I don't, like I stated at the beginning of my debate, I don't account for any kind of taking back or not enforcing the immigration laws inside the country or the custom laws inside the country. I just believe we should have a better representation and a more qualified stature and frame doing the work, in which we shouldn't have people that have 14 weeks experience in with fully automatic weapons roaming the streets trying to pull criminals off the streets. I believe it should be abolished, taken in by either the FBI or the Homeland Security. It would make a lot more sense to be FBI doing that. They have the technology and the means to track down these people a lot easier than ICE and their funding would. I believe it would be a lot stronger for the country in itself to go with the FBI. I believe the name ICE is just absolutely being washed off the streets. It has no respect to its name anymore. I think the FBI, if you heard the FBI was coming down your street, I think you're gonna rear up and think a little bit before you have to take action and try to resist against the FBI. To that, I'll hand it back over and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. We're going to hand the mic over to you, JS, for your rebuttal. So whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
All right. So I kind of expected that we could go this route, the training route. They haven't been trained enough. I thought it was 13 weeks. You're saying it was 14 weeks. I think previously, before Trump came in, it was 26 weeks, and I thought they cut it in half to 13, but maybe it's 14. This is what I touched on in my opening. We had 4 years of a 400% increase in illegal immigration. That's 400% increase in illegal immigrants coming into the country. And we cut the training of ICE agents in half. We need to cut the training of ICE agents by 400% to match the demand. We have a huge demand. We have a dire situation, and we need dire answers to that problem, because we have such a big influx. We need a big influx of officers. So that's why we're hiring fast. We're training less. It's going to get messier. More mistakes are going to be made. And I see the problems in all of this, but it's not a problem that we created. It's a problem we have to fix, and we have to do it less than perfectly because we don't have time. We don't have time to train these guys for 26 weeks, make sure we get all the perfect guys. We just need a lot of ICE agents right now. And it doesn't mean we're losing our well-trained operatives who have been working with ICE for, some of them, 20, 30 years. Or not 30 years, because it hasn't been around that long, but they've been in similar agencies for 20 to 30 years. These guys are still well-trained. They're at the top. They're in command. And these other dudes that we're hiring, maybe they're just basically security. They're just the guys that are standing around making sure the protests don't come in. You said we're hiring prison guards. Seems like a prison guard would be a great person to deal with riots. Like, what do you mean prison guards don't know how to deal with riots? They're the best at dealing with riots. You said we should move it under the FBI or the DHS. Well, ICE is already under the DHS. So I don't know why. What's the difference with the FBI? You think that these protesters who have been mobilized in their groups, and they're well-formed, they're organized. Antifa are terrorists. These people are funded, organized, rapid acting, and they come in and they stalk these people all day and they harass them. You think if their jacket said FBI, it would be any different? Instead of ICE, it said FBI. I don't think that would make a difference. These people don't care about that. They care that somebody is doing their job, and they're doing it under Trump. So they go out and they attack them. And we need these guys fast. Yeah, I think that's the core of your argument, is the training issue. I don't think that's a good argument for abolishing ICE. That's a good argument for, they need more training. They need more training means more funding. Right now, they're the most funded they've ever been. So, I mean, the only argument I see is they need more time to be trained better. I don't think that's a reason to abolish ICE, or basically a name change, which is one of the common arguments I'm hearing. So maybe I'll pick your brain more and ask you for some more questions, but you're going to have to show me how we can continue the flow of what we're doing at the rate that we're doing it by hiring less people with more training over a longer period of time and restructuring the entire system in the process. And we can go in the opening.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal, JS. Great rebuttals from both sides. Before we move into our open hour of back and forth, let me talk to the audience real quick. If you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to tonight's debaters. Their links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reasons, politics, culture, ethics, internet topics, anything where reasoning and passion collides. So if you enjoy the format, make sure you stay locked in, because we have a lot more coming for you. And also a reminder for the live chat after the closing statements, we're going to be doing a 30-minute Q&A. So I've already dropped the Q&A in the chat, but remember, super chats, PayPals, Cash Apps, these questions do get priority. And if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, We may not get to the free chat questions. So if you have something you really want answered, send it through one of those options and we'll make sure it gets asked. And again, finally, thank you to both our debaters for being here tonight, bringing your perspectives into the Swords of Reason arena. Whenever one of you is ready to start up the open floor exchange, you can go ahead and just jump in and I'll start the timer up with your voice.
Absolutely. I think JS, you had a couple questions. You want to kick her off? I'm ready.
Yeah, so you kind of said it in your opening. You said we need to put them under. They are already under the DHS. So let's say we consolidate them under the FBI. How is this a better solution than keeping them separate from the FBI?
I believe if we could abolish them, just the name ICE, put them under one of the two operations and begin your training and your observations from there. You have your highest trained officers that are still left on the force to go out and keep doing the enforcement that they're doing at the moment. And you take the non-experienced ones and you keep training them. You can see the lack of training in the last 6 months of what's happened. And these people in the streets, they're driving all over the place. They're pushing people all over the streets. The unprofessionalism is shown in many and many of videos. I understand that maybe they were pushed to that point, but at the same time, you are a federal agent and you should not be acting in sorts as a hooligan in the streets. You should be held to a higher account than the state police.
Okay. So where are we going to get? If we're not just going to take the guys that are already at ICE and hire them under the FBI and have the FBI manage it, isn't it still going to be the same employees?
It would to an extent, only you're only going to keep the more experienced ones. I think with a higher trained core, with training on the people under, you can get a lot more done than you can with just a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing. It's like, do you prefer quality or quantity at this point, right?
Right now, we need quantity.
But with quantity, you're going to get unprofessionalism and people are going to keep getting killed.
We've two dumbasses who ran and interfered with federal agents. Maybe the problem isn't the untrained ICE agents. What's also, I think that's a little bit of media bullshit there. I think they're pretty well trained. I don't know how much training you need to. A lot of these guys are basically just glorified bodyguards. They just stand there and make sure that the protesters stay back. That's why we need these guys so fast. It isn't for the normal operating procedures that we do. It's for the protesters.
See, my solution to the protest is the way it should be, and it should have been done prior. There shouldn't be ICE agents at a protest. You should have the military standing in the streets with their frickin' rifles out. And if you really want to fuck around, you're gonna find out.
The ICE agents aren't at the protests. The ICE agents are at the operation that they're doing, and the protest follows them.
No, I know, but like, let's say the protests outside of their bases, right, that have been happening for the last year and a half now, ever since Trump's been in power in Minnesota. Could you imagine just having a military base sitting there, a tank sitting there? I don't think people are going to be sitting there fucking around as much as the military standing there playing.
Okay, so you're saying to escalate the situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well,
see, I believe fully in the premise of ICE and what they're doing. I just think the name right now and the name over the last, let's say, 2 to 3 years has been absolutely rubbished and turned to the ground. And I think there's just a better way to have that system running. And to me, ICE is a pointless organization when you already have two organizations that can do the exact same thing. I think it was a knee-jerk reaction after 9/11 that it was created.
Well, we consolidated 22 different agencies. So from the founding of our country to 2022, what happened is we have one organization, another organization, another organization, another organization, and it becomes a tangled ball of all these different agencies. And what we did is we consolidated all that into one group, and we had the INS, and we put all that under the Department of Homeland Security. So go ahead.
So here's one of the other points I was going to go after. So let's pretend you had the FBI at their research abilities. Now, you're not going to have to go into a street and try and look for somebody. You're going to know exactly where they are. You can pinpoint that person to a T. So you wouldn't have to have these bigger operations where you're trying to shut down a whole block, do this, do that. They're going to know exactly where that person is at the exact time because they're going to be trained professionals. They can go in, scoop that person, and get out. They shouldn't have to rummage the streets. It's easy enough to find these people. They're not hard to find.
So you
They're in a
think
system somewhere.
so you think the ERO is just like wandering through the streets looking for immigrants?
In some cases, they are, and it's proven. They're just pulling people over on corners.
That's not what's happening. That's what the media is
In
telling
some
you.
cases.
That's what left-wing media is telling you, that to get you enraged and to get people to go out there and protest. That's bullshit. The HSI has plenary power. The ICE has more power than the FBI. They have plenary power. They have power to arrest without warrants. They have power. The HSI, the investigative branch, is investigating these people. They know where they're going. You can watch documentaries where they go through their plan. They have a plan. They sit outside of these locations for a while. Now they can't do that because people are reporting their cars and writing down their license plates and following them all day, so they can't even do their job correctly. Usually they would do a stakeout. They have phone taps, they have wiretaps, they track these people, they watch them with drones. They're doing investigations, but they can't do their investigations properly when these idiots are attacking them.
It's true. So now I do believe where I'm coming from on the FBI part, I'm not really standing on the ground. So I'm going to go from the second angle I was going to come from. Was actually, I believe even the FBI shouldn't be involved. My true feeling is that the actual army should be going in and taking these people out. You should have trained militants walking into those streets. They can track them. They can go grab these people and get them out of their country.
So, okay, so there was a point where I'm still pro Insurrection Act if these cities are telling their officers to interfere with ICE and things like that. But Insurrection Act, we put boots on the ground. That doesn't mean we abolish ICE. That means the military comes in and protects ICE while they do their job. And so also this is like a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah,
this becomes Democrats say Republicans are starting a civil war, and then this could lead us to a civil war. Like,
might be the best thing to happen.
Okay.
But no, okay. So, but I do. So with the training, I want to go back to the training part again, right? So, would you take a security guard into a SWAT raid?
I might hire if, let's say, we had some crazy situation and there was like terrorists everywhere. What does SWAT do? SWAT's gonna handle like bank robberies and stuff. Let's say we had some
Bank
crazy
robberies, drug houses, anything you got to militarily or with a structure move into a building.
Let's say we had a crazy outbreak of 400% increase in bank robberies. Then I would hire more SWAT agents and train them faster. And I would let the guys that have been around a long time handle the tactical duties. And I would let the guys that have been around less time stand outside and block the path. Kind of like what the untrained ICE guys are doing now is they're doing crowd control. They're just glorified crowd control guys. They're just dealing with protesters.
They're just border agents put into a situation that they shouldn't be, right? So
if you watch anything about like what ICE was doing before all of this craziness happened, it's very organized, it's very structured. Most of the people they're arresting just smile and say, "Oh, you got me. Oh, I'm going home." And then they get in the car with a smile on their face. That's not happening now because of this narrative that these mass secret police thugs are just wandering the streets, kidnapping grandmas. That's not what's happening.
No, it's not what's happening, but I think what happened was they faced a little bit of resistance, and you could start to see the foundation start to crack. The inexperience and everything started to show out of these people. You can see it when they are dealing with these people in the streets. There's absolutely no experience. You can tell that they are very inexperienced with doing any kind of crowd control. They're pushing people over. They're grabbing them. They're just throwing them around.
Fuck
when
them.
You should just. I understand that, but instead of pushing that guy over and just watching him fall over, grab him, throw him to the ground, and put fucking handcuffs on him.
Okay. Right. And that's part of the plan, but we're going to need more agents to do that. So if we're going to have one group of people who are just the spotters, and then they stand back, and then as soon as this guy goes in, they throw him on the ground, and then they rush him in and arrest him. You're saying instead of the ICE agents who are preoccupied with this over here, shoving a guy, you want them to shove him, everybody jump on top of him, put him in handcuffs. We're going to need
No, you
more
just
agents
grab
for
them,
that.
pull them in. Grab them, pull them in.
Okay, but we got to hire him quicker. And so these
That's what I'm
guys
saying.
who are we're just standing back, we're watching. As soon as he throws something, we go in and we tackle him and we grab him and put him in handcuffs. Those guys don't need as much training as the dudes who are running into a building, tactical and, doing all the hard work.
I think anybody who is qualified as a federal agent to hold a fully automatic rifle in their hand should be fully qualified.
Some of them aren't holding fully automatic rifles. They're holding paintball guns.
Yeah, but they have access to when shit hits the fan.
But American citizen can hold an automatic rifle in the street.
Oh, absolutely. But they're not a federal agent.
Right.
I think federal agents need to be held more to an account than even a state officer, right? You're representing the country, not just a state.
So we need more, let's call them nice agents. We need more nice agents, and we need longer training for those nice agents. And the solution is to abolish ICE, restart a new organization where we're going to hire people and train them better and bring the military in.
I do also believe that if ICE was abolished, I believe most of the resistance coming from the other side would go away. And I believe that they would start working with the federal government to get these people out of their countries. Number two, they do need to put this goddamn Insurrection Act into place to stop these sanctuary states from happening. Why we're being so nice to them is beyond my fucking beliefs.
I don't know
They've
if
had
insurrection. I don't think the Insurrection Act would stop sanctuary. That's something you have to do through legislation and Congress and.
But as soon as you are informing your state officers to stand down and not assist with federal actions, right there, you
should go to jail.
infraction.
Yeah, that governor, that mayor should go to jail.
Absolutely. And I believe that would fix most of this problem. And then let's just say we take away the word ICE. It's basically all you're doing is taking away that word ICE. And I think the resistance is going to crumble down probably almost to 20% of what it is right now. The only ones that are going to be those crazy Antifa prickers they just do it for fun, right?
I think we'd still have the exact same problem, but there would be a different name on the shirts. We'd have to put new letters on all the uniforms. I think that's basically all you're posing is we add an N in front of ICE to all of the shirts, and now all of a sudden,
but you're still going to proceed with upgrading the training of these officers. If for future, you're going to have more trained, better suited federal officers.
Why couldn't we just do that under ICE?
Because like I said earlier in my opening statement, the word ICE, that thing is garnished. That thing is completely rusted and spit on. Half the country hates it.
Half the country hates everything American.
Because it's a word. It's just a freaking word. So if you took that word out of the equation, I bet you almost 30% of those people, we know how smart they are on that side, would probably think, oh, okay, ICE is nice now. Okay, I like these people.
And maybe if we just rebrand the Republican Party, call it a different name, maybe people will vote for them next election. Maybe. Like this is just nominalism. Just changing the name and having everybody do those same functions, this is just a big logistical nightmare for no reason. As soon as the media starts saying this new agency nice is not so nice, go out and protest, then the people are going to protest. Rebranding it is not a solution. More training, I can agree they need more training, but we need to deal with this issue right now. We don't have a lot of time. If another Democrat gets in 2028, we're screwed.
And so hiring more, I agree you need to get them out. But right now, you are getting them out at record low paces. So what we're doing right now is not working at all.
That's not true. It's not record
To
low
an
paces.
extent, it is.
It's just less than Obama. And by the way, Obama's numbers are really skewed because he was doing a lot of turnaways and counting those as deportations. So I haven't seen a massive move like this under any president. They'll downplay Trump's numbers and they'll upplay Obama's numbers. But we're getting a lot of the dangerous people out of those sanctuary cities at higher rates. And you're right. The sanctuary cities are a problem, but abolishing ICE doesn't fix that.
So, like, ICE in itself, it's a name. That's
Right.
literally all it is. It runs under the Homeland Security, right?
Yeah, it's the ERO, the OPLA, and the HSI.
So what is the actual point of ICE? Why can it not be handled within internally of the Homeland Security?
It is.
I meant without the name ICE.
Again, we just changed the name. Or, I mean, a lot of times they don't even have ICE on their shirt. HSI will have HSI on their shirt. Your problem is just with the enforcement and removal operations.
No, I fully believe in the enforcement and removal options. I do believe it should be.
But you don't like the way they're doing it right now.
Yeah, and I think they're doing it the wrong way, and it's become such a problem. Well, they're not that they're doing it the wrong way. It has just become such a bad name and such a problem across the rest of the country that I believe just the name ICE is just tainted and stained and needs to be removed and moved into something else and restructure the program. The program needs to be restructured from the ground up. I think you should not have. You shouldn't have to have federal agents walking around with masks on. They should be proud to be walking around the streets with masks on. I think they were too soft on these fucking people. Right at the start, when these riots started, the military should have been walking the streets and throwing people around and throwing them in jail. They're way too soft.
Wait, you said that they should be walking around with masks on, but proudly.
No, they shouldn't have to wear a mask. They should be walking the streets proudly without a mask.
ICE wore masks before all this protest stuff.
Oh, no, I know.
Do you know ICE doesn't wear masks because, well, now they're wearing masks because of stupid liberals with blue hair.
And shit, yeah.
But they used to wear masks because Mexican cartel members would kill their whole family. That's why they wore masks. Now they wear masks because blue-haired liberals will report them on a website, and then Mexican cartel members will find that website easier and kill their whole family.
All right. I'll give you that one. Yeah. I'll stand down on that one. That is true. That would take me to another debate that I'd love to have, which is we should completely annihilate the Mexican cartel. But
well, we're working on it.
We're starting from the top down.
It flew under the radar because of the news changes every week, but we did kill a cartel leader like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. I know.
So, but anyway, you have to understand when you say abolish ICE, you're not just saying restructure the ERO. You're going to get rid of Homeland Security investigations. These are the guys that they're going after the drug smugglers who are coming out over the border. They're going after the child traffickers and the girls who are being exploited. They're also doing IP law regulations, like intellectual property laws. They're also doing hacking and internet crimes, transnational and national, here and abroad. They're, internet security and stuff. So it's not just the guys in masks on the street. It's huge. It's a huge organization.
I've never said abolish the.
You said abolish ICE. The whole debate's about.
ICE is the name. It is 3 letters. It is a name. I believe it should just be reinstated
not just a name.
into the Homeland Security.
This is the
The
problem.
Homeland Security already has the technology and the budget to take over this program easily.
Homeland
Without
Security
ICE,
take over.
What is the point of having the word ICE there? What is the point? Why not just
the name of the agency? So this is just nominalism. It's just we don't like the name. This is the same argument that this Democrat guy made in this video that I was watching while I was prepping. I should have wrote his
But
name
what you're
down.
doing
But
is you're funding a whole other organization with extra more money going just towards that one organization. Why not run it through one solid state? Why run it through 22 organizations? It's just a typical form of government to make more money,
no, it
spread out
doesn't.
more different ways to cost more money.
No, that's what we did. It was going to 22 different agencies. We consolidated all of those into one agency, which is the Department of Homeland Security is one agency,
Yes,
the DHS.
but you have 5 branches of the exact same
Yes, it branches off. And then
and does
ICE,
the exact same thing.
ICE is 3 agencies. So what if, like, on their bulletproof vests, instead of it say ICE, we just put ERO?
That's the same thing as ICE. Why doesn't it just say Homeland Security?
They do. The ones that are in Homeland Security, their vests say HSI.
Mhm.
And then the
But
ones that are in the
point
ERO,
of
they
having
say
all those
ICE.
when it's all the same organization doing the exact same thing.
Because one of them deals with the investigations, one of them deals with enforcement and removal. So they do different things.
Mhm.
It's no different than if you go to a McDonald's, the burger flipper might be wearing a black chef-looking shirt, and the manager might be wearing a white button-up shirt. It's just different uniforms for different branches and different job descriptions for different branches, but they're all under ICE. So abolishing ICE means you got to get rid of all of that.
Basically, you're just rehoming it.
Okay, so you don't want to abolish ICE. You just want to
I want to structure it better.
reallocate and more
No,
training.
it needs to be restructured, and stronger is the way it should be. And they should stop being so goddamn nice about it.
So,
like, they've been really nice. That was their problem. That's what started this whole freaking problem.
I thought the whole argument was that they're being too mean and aggressive. They're pushing people to the ground when they should be.
No, that's their unprofessionalism as you've seen it. That should ever even got to that point where the protesters or anybody was allowed that close to a federal agent. They should have been arrested before they even stepped anywhere near a federal agent.
A lot of them are getting arrested.
They are now, but they let it go for so long that all these lefties just thought they had all the power in the world. They could do whatever they wanted. So then you got people blocking a street, like literally parked opposite direction of traffic, trying to block federal agents from driving down a road.
Yeah, I agree. That's a problem.
And it should never have gotten to that point. They should have taken care of it before that.
So is that ICE's fault, or is that dumbass liberals' faults?
I think it shows the inexperience of what the power that they should be known that they had. They should have been able, as soon as people started walking down the street, and this is when it first started, these people calling them in. You see people on a cell phone and you know they're calling and telling people who are around, you grab that person, you pull them out of the car, you throw them in handcuffs, and you put them in fucking jail. But what they did is they let it go for so freaking long that now you got 10,000 people doing it instead of just 10. When you could have solved the problem. Oh, okay, if I do this, I get thrown in fucking jail.
Yeah, this is all due to leftist media propaganda, and everything you're saying is a problem, but that's not ICE's fault. That's
it's a lack of training. If they would have known what they are capable to do. 14 weeks, you don't
they're not capable to just walk up to an American on their phone and arrest them.
If they are calling people and impeding any direction away an officer needs to go, you are allowed to arrest them.
How are they going to know that?
Law.
So they
it's
see
easy.
somebody
The
in their
first
car.
person that walks up with their cell phone, they're coming up in your face and going with a cell phone. Instead of just sitting there letting it happen, you put their hands in handcuffs and you fucking throw them in a car.
Well, unfortunately, there's a constitution in America, and there's certain things they're not allowed to do. They are allowed to arrest people who are interfering, but there's a level that has to be met for it to be interfering to where they do that. And when that level gets hit and they throw somebody on the ground, somebody ends up shot, and then people say abolish ICE because they're not trained enough.
That's not the extent, though. Like, if they would have taken care of this problem when it started, it would not have gotten nearly as bad as it did.
See, I think
you can't. How can you even say that it wasn't?
I think you're post hoc, like you're saying they waited too long, and now their unprofessionalism is showing. If they would have done it earlier, you would have still said it looks unprofessional because the media would have shown you all these videos of them throwing people on the ground and jumping on them and arresting them and saying, this is unconstitutional, this is horrible, people would have got outraged quicker and shown up faster. Like changing the name, this is about
Bring them artillery.
this
You
is
just start
about
walking
media
down the street with
propaganda.
tanks and AK-47s. Let's go.
Okay, well,
Take
I
over
mean,
the streets.
all of this is still possible without abolishing ICE. Like, I have a better solution. How about we keep ICE, we stop hiring new people, and we just bring the military in to help them?
How about we abolish ICE, rename it ICE or NICE, like you said, right?
So you know that was a joke.
Right?
Not.
That's all you got to do. I honestly think that 50% of this country is infatuated with 3 letters. And I believe you can almost take out a lot of that hate by just eliminating three freaking letters out of the alphabet.
So 4 years ago, 50% of this country were infatuated with the 3 letters BLM and the 4 letters ACAB. And they were saying abolish the police because we don't like the police. Would you argue back then that we should have abolished the police and renamed them the Police?
No. No, that's a completely
So why are you
different
doing it
story.
now?
Because
It's
that's
not
the
a
state.
It's the same thing.
No, that's the state. We're talking about federal government, federal officers right now.
Okay. Federal officers that have plenary power. I think they're getting plenty of training to do what they need to do. And then what
They're
we need to,
absolutely not. How could somebody who has a quarter training of a state police officer be plenty of trained?
it depends on what job they're doing. So if
And
they're
that's
only
to become a rookie. You are a rookie at 44 weeks. You still have to work your way up the ranks. You can't even go out alone after 44 weeks of training.
okay, so let's agree, I'll concede they need more training. How is abolishing ICE a solution to getting more people who do ICE's job with more training? Because we still need people to do those jobs. You agree to that?
Oh, absolutely.
And you want more people with more training to do the same job, but you want to abolish the agency that hires those people and put it in the process it's going to take to abolish them and rename them. We're not hiring people. We're not training people. We need to hire and train people now, yesterday. So
I think with a stronger, more qualified force, you wouldn't need as many people, right? I don't think it would have escalated to the point that it is right now.
what do you think they did to all the experience, the 20-year guys, when Trump came in and we started doing these mass deportations? You think they got rid of all the experienced guys that were already there?
No, but I don't think their numbers are high enough at that point. I know that's kind of counter into your argument, but I think it wasn't strong enough to start with. And I think it was too small of a force and not a well-trained force.
Right, because we didn't have an open border for 4 years, and under Biden, he wasn't hiring more ICE agents. He was hiring more IRS agents.
And I don't think in the next 8 years you're going to see another open border. I don't think the people will allow that and let it stand. So I don't think the fact that we're going to have a new reenactment in 3 years, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, so let's say we keep the border sealed up. Let's say a Democrat gets in next. They see that the American people support a strong border, and they're left a strong border by Trump. They come in, they keep the border sealed up. We still have the problem with overstayed visas. We still have the problem with all the immigrants that already came in, and we have to get those out. That's what ICE does. The HSI, which when you say abolish ICE, you're also saying abolish the HSI. And so,
No, I'm not saying abolish the HSI, because the HSI should be the one just do it. I think ICE is just, like I said, it's a tarnished name. What is the point of having a tarnished name when it runs under something else that's already what it is? What is the point of having it when you could just run under the HSI and not have ICE or the SO or anything? Why not just be the Homeland Security? Why have 18 divisions, useless divisions of more people, when you could have it all centralized into one?
like ICE.
Like HSI.
Yeah. So Okay, so instead of having the ERO, the HSI, and the OPLA under ICE, we get rid of the name ICE and we have them all under the HSI.
Or DHS, I should be saying. I don't know why I'm saying HSI. The Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, they are all under. So you just want to take the name ICE off and put DHS on there.
For everything. Why have 15 different fucking subdivisions?
Names on shirts.
Yeah, that's all they are.
Because it's good to have some specialization in different branches of your government. Like, why do we have an executive branch and a legislative branch and a judicial branch of our government? Why don't we just call them all the government?
Why don't you?
We do. In the same way we do just call ICE DHS. Like, so this is all just about the name.
I just believe the name and the training is what absolutely astonishes me in my mind. I just can't believe that people can become a federal agent. They can walk the streets with a fucking fully automatic assault rifle after 14 weeks. And just have the amount of power that they have. They have as much power, if not more, than a state officer with a quarter of the training.
Okay. So they need more training. We could just, not abolish ICE. We could just put different names on their shirts, call them something different, and hire more people and train them better. Like, all of these solutions and all of these problems, I see these problems too, but abolishing ICE is not a good solution for that.
If it tones down the amount of resistance you're getting, would it not help?
I don't think, first off, I don't even think that plan works. I think changing the name, all the Democrats go on X or they Blue Sky or whatever the hell they go on, and they say they're just changing the name of ICE to try to distract us. Now we're going to hate this new agency.
It would probably take them about 4 years to figure that out. And by then you'd have well-trained operatives, right?
I don't think so. I think the mainstream media would constantly cover it. They'd say they're changing the name of ICE. They're still going to be in your streets wearing masks, doing the same exact thing they were doing yesterday, but now they have a different name on their shirt. I know liberals are dumb, but I don't know if they're that dumb that they're just going to, let's all back up. They have a different name now.
I think they're that dumb. But I just don't see.
Just for some like clarification as like a viewer watching here, like, are you for the affirmative? So are you saying like, you're not advocating for eliminating the function of ICE entirely? You want to simply reorganize the same function under a different name and structure?
Basically, yes. So you're abolishing the name ICE and you're starting a new organization, which is going to prove to the American citizens that you're going to be more trained, more structured, and more well-equipped to go on for the future. I think right now you've got the name ICE that is so tarnished right now, but if you did switch that to another organization under another name with a structured plan shown to the people, I think it would help a lot with the resistance that's happening against ICE right now.
Yeah, and I don't. I think it would be the same thing with a different name. And,
so it seems like the debate has kind of shifted from like saying it should be abolished to now it's more like a restructuring enforcement under HSI. So I guess the real question now is whether like ICE's problems are structural and require replacing the agency, or whether the same enforcement system just simply needs better training, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, even at this point, I would even concede the debate at abolish, right? I just don't know how. We need to do something different going on from the future. So even if let's take abolish, I'll concede that point. Let's go with what can we do to make ICE itself better? Because right now it's not functioning as well as it should be.
Okay, so yeah, see, this is what, when I was prepping for this, everything that I watched, like Democrats saying, they're saying abolish ICE. And then when you start asking them about it, well, we don't really want to abolish ICE. We just want to rename them and kind of reallocate forces to different branches. It's like it's just a logistical problem for no reason to basically complain about ICE. So I'm fine with the structure of ICE currently. I'll agree with you that we are hiring rapidly without a lot of training. The training has been cut in half. So a lot of these guys, and we're hiring now. It's a lie. It's propaganda that we're just hiring anybody off the streets. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot.
Democrats believe that you could be a drug addict who just got out of jail and get a job at ICE. Like, that's not the case. You still have to have a clean record. You still go through all of the FBI, all of the databases and all that stuff to apply and get the job. It's just less training. The vetting procedure is the same.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's where I think it's the weakest that it can be. It needs to be a lot stronger, right? So let's, like I said, let's fucking concede the word abolish, but let's improve ICE. Let's make it a hell of a lot stronger and a lot more effective. So where do we start? We up their training programs, right?
Yeah.
We can at least make them have a minimum of what a state officer has to do to get in. But right now, like you said, we have this huge influx of problem. What we need, like I said, is you need to take the United States needs to take their backbone like they're doing around the world and use it in their own country. If Trump had the backbone inside his country that he did outside of it, those mayors would be in prison. Everybody on those streets would be sitting in a jail cell, and people would be able to do their jobs without resistance.
Yeah. See, if this is the debate, now it's going to just be more of a discussion because I don't.
Yes.
Now I do still disagree that about the training thing. Like we need rapid agents. We need them quickly, and we need a lot of them. The only way you're going to do that quickly is you got to sacrifice something, and we're sacrificing training time. And I'd say those guys who are new, they're green, and they had less training, give them less important jobs. Like they're not doing the tactical maneuvers. They're not running into the building. They're just standing outside, making sure the protesters don't come. And I don't think changing the name on their vests is going to stop the protesters.
Sorry, real quick. I just want to say though, just so everyone in the chat is clear. So since the affirmative has like moved away from abolishing ICE and toward reforming it, I think the debate now becomes whether ICE's current structure is adequate or if reforms are needed.
Yes. Yeah, let's go with that.
I knew this was going to happen, dude. You can't just say abolish ICE because
hey man, you got to live and learn, right? That's why I come into these things.
It's been good faith, so that's at least So at least he's conceded the abolishment part and moved towards reframing it. But it seems like you think the current structure is fine, and we actually need more.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right that they have less training now, and so we're going to see more mistakes. We're going to see it's not going to look as clean as we'd like it to look. But I think that that's a necessary thing that we have to do right now because we have a big problem and we need to solve it quickly before the next election. And
so now, do you have a big problem in, let's say, 42 of your states?
No.
You only have a problem in 10 of them. So this is where I honestly think that the military should be stepping in and stopping this. If you had military stopping and watching these streets, people wouldn't be around there fucking around. And I think that's where this action has gotten to the point where the military needs to step in and stop this. Like, you need to flex your big wiener like you're doing around the world dropping bombs.
I think that sounds cool. Like when you say it, I'm like, that sounds based. And you say Trump needs to flex his power like he is in the rest of the world with America. But it's different dealing with international law where we're in charge versus dealing with American law where Trump doesn't want to be seen as the martial law president who just brings the military in everywhere. We did that in DC and you saw their reaction. Like we have midterms coming up, and there is a political game that has to be played here. And if he just looks like this, he's already looked at as a fascist and a tyrant and a dictator. Now he just starts dumping the military in the streets. Maybe that looks worse. I mean,
Does it really look worse? I mean, it's already gotten to the point. It is past the point of escalation in a lot of these states. It's defused now a little bit. Let's say yes, but it's going to happen again right after the midterms to try and build up some more hype, right? So at some point, you need to put a stop to it.
so instead of, and also, I kind of like our military being able to, like, ICE focuses on internal things. I like the military to focus more on external things, external threats. ICE,
Don't you have about 23 million of those people just kind of around that are hired into your military?
I don't know how much of them are just around or how much of them are doing what, but
you have a very large amount of military officers in the U.S. state, right? The country of U.S.
we also have the rest of the world who hates us. Speaking of, when you say ICE has become a laughing stock to the rest of the world, I don't care.
No, I said a country.
They'll laugh when he's not there, but they won't laugh when Trump's in the room.
No, I said ICE has become the laughing stock of a country, not of the world, though.
Oh,
Like, it's even come to the point where I think some even the rightists are laughing at them. I wasn't. That's not where I'm coming from. Like, I think there's some people in the chat that think I'm a leftist and I'm fucking all against abolishing ICE. That's not where I'm at. I just
when
think
you say
the
abolish
word
ICE,
ICE. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I thought sitting there saying that it needs to be harsher than they were was kind of speaking fact that I'm not for the left, right? So,
okay, so we need more training. So your solution is, instead of hiring guys rapidly who aren't trained as long, we can train longer and hire at a slower pace if we have the military come in and back them up.
yes.
How long is the military trained for? Like, if you just go into the military, how long's boot camp?
I think it's 2 years, isn't it? 2 to 3 years.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just wondering. So, but to me, it's like if we got in a war and if they had to draft a bunch of people.
Oh, absolutely. That's the time you move them out. But we're not at that point nearly right now, and I don't think it's going to escalate to that point for us easy.
No. But my point is, if we're at war, we just draft everybody. It's everybody's going out. We're going to fight. Nobody cares about training. Nobody cares about, oh, this isn't the right guy for the job. That's Danny from down the block. He's a little crazy, and you're going to go send him to fight some Iraqis. Like, when we're at war, we just need manpower fast and now. We don't worry about training. We don't worry as much.
But that's like an emergency. So, like, that's the oh shit button. People are invading our country.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that they're doing what they're doing now, is we're hitting the oh shit button because we got invaded for 4 years. So we're sending boys to war with a little less training in our country to deal with the immigration and to deal with the crazy leftists and the Antifa. Basically, it's like an ICE draft. We're just sign them up, get them in there, hand them a gun, go to work. And I see the problems with that, but
I see a lot of problems with that. It's actually, it blows my mind that a lot more people were not unalived that were. Like, only 2 people unalived, basically, that we've seen in the media, right?
I think they want those people to die. They want a couple people to die because it pushes the message.
It does, right? And it fuels the media and so on and so forth. But that's where I do believe, like, if you could show this the other side that you could re-abolish and reinstate a new organization with better training, and at least show them a bit of a difference, I think it would defuse a little bit of the situation that's happening right now. So if you were to take ICE, change it to nice, right? But come out to the public and say, hey, this is what we're doing now. We're gonna train our agents a lot more, be a lot less hostile, and just play a little bit of the political game with the other side. I think you'd be a lot more successful than just hiring a mass bunch of people and just trying to do the exact same thing over and over again. It's like
But
yeah, go ahead.
you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. So on one side you're saying we need to diffuse the situation, we need to change the name, train the people better, show them better operating procedures to calm the people down. On the other side you're saying, and we're going to bring in the military to defend them.
I think it would diffuse the situation because people aren't going to fuck around nearly as
No.
much.
People are going to lose their goddamn minds if you do that in every major city in America.
You wouldn't do it in every city because 90% of the country is not standing against you. It's only
Every
a few.
major blue Democrat city. It's not just the sanctuary cities. Like I live in Salt Lake City and we have ICE protests here. We have Facebook groups and Antifa members who protest them and march down the streets every weekend. And this is not a sanctuary city. I call it a soft.
You guys have been a bunch of weirdos for a lot of years.
Yeah, but there's Democrat cities that I call soft sanctuary cities where they don't actually have sanctuary city policies, but they act like sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not telling their police to go interfere, like in some of these hardcore LA and New York and Minneapolis and Chicago and places like this. But there are still like soft sanctuary cities where they're like, we love our immigrants. We're going to try to protect you. And they're notifying them, oh, ICE is coming down this road and stuff like that. People are protesting. You'd have to send the military into a lot of major cities. So you're trying to calm the people down and change the public perception. But at the same time, you want the defenses without hiring people in mass with less training. You want those defenses, so you want to send the military in. The left will lose their mind. They'll say we're at war.
All right. Yes.
So I think we agree about the training thing, that ideally they would have more training, but I'm saying right now we need this to happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. It needs to be strong and fast. And the way we do that is we've got to hire more people. We got a bigger budget. $85 billion is the biggest budget that we've ever seen for ICE. And we're hiring people. We're giving them signing bonuses. We're fast tracking them through the training. And then we're putting them out there and saying, look, we're going to handle this tactical stuff. You're going to be on crowd control because these crazy people are trying to kill us. And then bad stuff happens, but that's not ICE's fault. That's the left's fault. That's the propaganda's fault. And so, yeah, I don't think, like right now is the restructuring that.
Yeah. Okay.
We're seeing a restructuring, which is faster training, more hires, because we need it. Once we take care of the problem, then we can talk about
I'm not seeing a solution coming out of the problem. We've been trying it for the last 6 months. Nothing's really progressing. It's just it's been at the same state basically it has been for the last 6 months. Nothing's really changing. You got the protests, you got people following ICE, you got people hunting ICE, nothing's changing in 6 months. So why not try a different change? Try to agree with these fucking crazy, not even agree with them, but give them a little carrot. Just a tiny little carrot. We're going to abolish ICE and we're going to come up with a new structure, new program. Here it is. More training, and just, sugarcoat it, put glitter on it and fucking stickers so that people can match their fucking hair and their jewelry on their face,
Yeah, see, on
And
one
try
side,
something different.
On one side, you're saying we need to go stronger and harder and handle this situation. That's what I'm saying.
They need it, but I think it's past that point. Well,
But then
how
on
do
the
you
other
go
side, you're trying to
stronger?
placate these people. You can't placate these people. These people are never going to be. They're never going to be happy. Whatever
you go-
Trump does, they're going to hate it.
How do you go harder and stronger with an untrained force? It's going to become chaos. It's going to become absolute fucking chaos.
I mean, I don't know. I think you're over exaggerating how bad it is. Like, I think, like you said, this is mainly a couple cities, and
I think everybody's a little distracted right now with what's going on, and I think that's kind of a political boom on itself. But at the same time, all this other stuff's going to go away, and it's going to come back to the exact same shit and the shit we were laying in a month and a half ago, where people are lined up in the streets, people are chasing, they're trying to block ICE agents in the street. We're going to get back there again. It's going to happen.
yeah, but that might be inevitable. I don't think rebranding ICE is going to fix that. It's We're still going to have the same problems. That the problem is the left. It's the propaganda. It's the media. It's them telling them to hate Trump. Them spreading this fake news to make people want to stand up against them and resist them. We should be. Well, now that Antifa is labeled domestic terrorists, we should be going after these groups and going after these people. And so maybe instead of restructuring ICE, we need to restructure these local police forces who aren't doing anything to stop these protesters. But I wouldn't say abolish the police because they're not doing their job.
I think they're being
I know we
told
moved off the abolish thing, but
yeah, no, yeah, that's because the abolish is over. I already conceded that one. So this is my own fault, right? Like let's just put it this way. I'm tired of going to the other side and debating like fucking. I can't stand debating a leftist for fucking half an hour because they just want to blow my brains out. So I've been trying to take the opposite side and go at it, right? So
yeah.
and I'm finding it the best way to learn. Yeah, may not look like the smartest guy on the internet, but you know what? I'm learning a lot, and I'm gonna take this and just get stronger and stronger from it. So, and that's my goal.
Yeah, it sounds like the core disagreement now isn't really about ICE itself. It's whether the government agencies should change their structure or branding in response to public backlash. And it seems like you're saying that the legitimacy comes with like the public trust, and this is important. But then JS, it seems like you're saying that when it comes to law enforcement, it should remain independent of any public pressures.
Yeah.
Yeah, certain people are going to hate everything the government does. You're not going to do anything to make them happy, and that's a problem with those people. And we can't restructure our government every time people cry about how it's being ran. Like, or we can't. I mean, we can make changes slowly, but we just can't. We can't take some radical position that, oh well, these people are radicals, so we're just going to change everything to make them happy, because they're not going to be happy.
No.
They're always going to complain.
So at the same time, okay, so let's not abolish the name ICE, right? Why not even just come out and up the training program and make that publicly known? Would that help with the resistance against ICE?
Yeah, but now how are you going to fix the problem that we don't have enough of them? We need a lot fast.
Yeah, I know. That's where I keep saying the military comes in, but at the same time, I'm also fighting both sides here. So,
let me ask this question here. It's for both of you, and maybe this will help get this wrapped into a ball here. Should law enforcement agencies prioritize public approval or strict enforcement of the law when those two things are conflicting with each other?
I think they need to focus on enforcing the law and getting the job done, even if it looks bad and the public doesn't like it.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I spaced out on that one.
That's okay. If you want me to repeat the question, I can.
Yeah, if you can.
It was should the law enforcement agencies prioritize public approval or strict enforcement of the law when those things are in conflict? So at the time that public approval is in conflict with strict enforcement, which one should be prioritized at that moment?
See, and then that's where I started going down the wrong path. I think it should be a strict enforcement of law. It shouldn't be public enforcement, right? But at some point, you do have to bend the knee just a little bit, just to give them what they want, to get them to back off a little bit. Is kind of what I'm saying, right? But at the time of being, it should be strict policies of law enforcement put forward.
So the problem here is the lack of training, but we have a problem where we've had this huge influx. It's not just that the border was open for 4 years under Biden. It's that the ICE we had weren't doing their jobs. They weren't. I mean, I'm sure they were
Yes.
doing something, but they weren't doing what they should be doing because of that 4-year detriment where we're not hiring new ICE agents, we're not training them. We have an open border. Because of that 4-year problem, now we're in a situation where we've got to act quick and we've got to act strong, and something's got to come at a loss here. Either you're hiring more and paying them less and training them for longer, or you're going to lose out on something here. There's got to be a compromise, and I think training could be that compromise. You lose some training so that you can get more quicker. And you just have those guys do less important jobs, like dealing with protesters. They're basically just bouncers at a club.
Yeah, I think you're at that point now, right? There's nothing you can do at the moment. It's got past the points of recollection are coming back. But
yeah,
that's where I do believe, like when it started, I think they should have been a hell of a lot more harsher and just not allowed any of it to happen. And that's kind of where my belief kind of kicks in. And I think that's where we would disagree a little bit, is that before it even started, it should have been strict. You get in the way of an officer or a federal agent, you're going to fucking jail. Doesn't matter who you are, how many, just grab them, throw them in fucking jail and get it over with. Because as more and more they allow it, the more and more that becomes there are of them, and they can get away with it, and they just keep doing it.
But then when they stop them, or when they try to stop them and the people have guns on them, we shoot them. And then there's even more public outrage, and we say they're not being trained enough. That's why they're shooting them.
But I don't even think the public outrage would get to that point where if you are impeding, you're going to jail. People know you're going to jail. They're not going to be as willy-nilly running in the streets with video cameras, stepping in front of police officers or federal agents like they were the whole time, right?
I think we just need to show a bunch of people getting arrested constantly.
Exactly.
Okay, but I mean, how much
by
more
military
training?
agents?
A lot of this rapid training we've been doing, these aren't the guys that are wearing the masks. These are the people who are sitting behind desks doing tracking and monitoring and investigating the stuff. People who are just sitting around monitoring a drone camera or something all day. They're just, they're intel people.
Yeah.
And that was another big, that's why I was saying in my opening, that was a big problem I have with Abolish ICE, because ICE is not just those guys in the streets. ICE is huge. It's the largest legal group in the Department of Homeland Security, is part of ICE. And a lot of those people are getting hired quicker because we need more of those to cover the legal stuff. And they're, nobody's going to complain that they weren't trained as long. A lawyer gets hired with less training. Like, people aren't going to complain about that. So I don't know. I think that basically the argument here is they need more training, and the public perception is bad. And I think there's ways to fix that without abolishing them, without renaming them. And the problem isn't ICE. The problem is the propaganda, the media, and these radical leftists,
Yeah, absolutely. But just kind of sucks. Yeah. Like I said, already conceded halfway through. I wish I would have chosen a different topic. It was just really the only topic I knew anybody would fucking take, as long as you put the word abolish in there. So I was trying to play it from the other side, but hey, here we are, right? So
I kind of thought it might be something like that.
But I'll take it inside, and here we go.
I
We
play the
still
same
gotta-
game too, so sometimes I'll just say something that sounds really radical, and then
I still got a
like,
closing to do, so maybe it's still mine.
yeah, yeah.
Well, a tip for you both, all right? Since we're in the last seconds here, just give you both a tip. If you say something radical, it'll only be radical to everyone until someone else that's bigger than you agrees with it. Then all of a sudden it's not radical anymore. Because if I don't know if you guys remember my stance on America can't be nationalist. Nobody's arguing with me anymore about it ever since Rob agreed with me.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
just got to get someone bigger than you to agree with you. You'll be good.
This is true.
Shit. Listen, that is going to wrap up the open hour back and forth. Usually I ask if they want an extra 30 minutes, but as we see, we've kind of conceded and wrapped up this here at the end. So I just want to say great exchanges from both sides tonight. Good faith debate. I like it. Just want to tell everybody in the chat we're about to enter the final phase, the closing statements. So quick reminder for you all, the Q&A is up there for you guys. If you've got questions for either debater, make sure you drop them in now. And remember, super chats, PayPal, Cash App questions, this still takes priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, not all the free chat questions will make it through. So if there's something you really want guaranteed to be asked, send it through one of the priority options, and we'll make sure that gets done. With that said, we're going to move into closing. Each debater will get 5 minutes, make their closing statement here, their final case, if you will. So we're going to start with Wrath of Reason. Wrath of Reason, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. I'll start the timer up with your voice.
All right, let's kick it off. Once again, thanks, guys. Thanks, JS, for stepping up and doing this. But I still stand strong. I do believe that we need to have a lot more trained government. If you are going to be a federal official who's trying to walk the streets with the guns and represent the whole country as one, you should be a lot more trained than the officers that are standing underneath you that are supposed to be assisting you. I think a stronger structure into the ICE program, let's say, with more training would be a lot more effective in the future than what we have going on right now. With what he's saying, what we can do at the moment, yes, we could bring in people short term, do the plan, and try and get what has the damage that has been done out. But I do believe as a whole that the structure of ICE itself needs to be restructured, ripped up from the core, and just push forward for the immigration for the future, right? A stronger program with a lot more intricate parts that could move with it, with the training, right? We have seen in the last few months, like I said, when they're pushed against, they crack, they start making mistakes, and you can see the inexperience in the streets. Whereas if you had more trained professional officers, I think it would have been diffused a lot faster, and it never would have got to the point that it got to. Other than that, I already conceded halfway through. I took it as fun, thinking I could do it, and bit off more than I could chew. So I'll cede my time on over to JS.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. With that, we're going to hand the mic over to JS. JS, whenever you're ready for your closing statement, I will start the timer up with you. Oh, it already started. I'll start the timer up with your voice.
So that went kind of the way I expected it to go. I kind of thought that you were being a little hyperbolic because I know you're not a lefty. But you made a lot of the same arguments that the lefties would make. Like, I feel like I did a lot of unnecessary research for this. I learned all about all the US codes and all these different policies that we've written and bills that have been written throughout the history of America. That wasn't really necessary here because you weren't coming at it like a leftist. You were coming at it like a right-wing guy that was being a little hyperbolic when you said abolish. I think both of us, it comes down to drastic situations require drastic measures. And I'm saying the drastic situation is the open border and Biden not doing anything for his 4 years except causing problems, to now the drastic situation is we've got to hire people quickly, train them less. There's going to be some mistakes made. The public's going to see it. The public's going to hate it. Fuck them. We got to get this job done now. That's what I'm saying is the drastic solution to the drastic problem. You're saying the drastic problem is that the public's mad and the people aren't getting trained enough. So the drastic solution is to abolish ICE. But a solution like that, you need to get real down into policy and show me why this is a better option than just saying ICE needs more training. Does not equal abolish ICE. It means give them more training. It means we keep ICE, but we train them better. Abolishing, reorganizing and abolishing and restructuring and renaming and retraining, it would be very expensive, very timely. It would be a mess logistically. We don't have time to do all that right now. And that happened 20 years ago. Like all of this stuff happened that you're posing is what happened 20 years ago. And this is something we're going to end up doing it again someday. So maybe someday, you're right, we will abolish ICE and we'll change it and we'll reorganize it. Does this need to happen every 20 years? No, maybe every 50 years, maybe every 100 years we do something drastic like this. But I think right now our ICE structure is good the way it is. And I think that the problems like the lack of training it's a necessary, I'm not even going to say necessary evil, but it's a necessary like overlook that we have to take. We have to kind of be like, well, we've got to lose something. What's the compromise going to be? Maybe we just train them less because we need them fast. And I think that's worth the solutions that it'll lead to. It'll lead to more deportations, more people getting arrested. And the problem isn't ICE. The problem is we need to abolish the left. We need to abolish Democrats, and we need to abolish mainstream media, Democrat propaganda through mainstream media, riling the people up and giving them fake information that gets people killed. I think 13 weeks is plenty of training for what a lot of these people are doing. A lot of these guys, all they got to do is stand outside and make sure the crowd doesn't come through. You want more of the crowd to get arrested? Then we're going to need more guys who can just stand there and drop them on the ground and put handcuffs on them and put them in the car. How much training does that take? Don't give those guys a rifle. Give those guys a paintball gun with tear gas in it. And there you go. That's problem solved. We're getting more agents. They're arresting more people. They have less training, so they're not doing as much important work. I think that's a better solution than abolishing, which you already conceded to. But I think there's just better options than restructuring everything. So that's all I got. This was fun. Thanks, Easy, and thanks, Wrath, for giving it a shot. But I don't know if that's it. That ain't it.
I had two other points I was going to come at, and just before, like today at work, I was talking with a guy, and he completely ripped his shreds on him. So I was like, "Fuck!" And this is all I was left with. I'm like, "Oh no!" I knew before coming in that this was going to happen, but because I did prep for the debate for a while. But
I'd like to hear those arguments when we get to the open panel, maybe.
Yeah,
true. So that right there is going to conclude the closing statements. Again, great work from both debaters tonight. If you are enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the debates we host here on Swords of Reason. We run all kinds of matchups, all kinds of debaters, political, cultural, social issues, philosophy, internet beefs, trending topics, video games, literally anything. There's a conversation worth clashing over. We bring it into the arena. And also, don't forget to subscribe to tonight's debaters as well. Their links are in the description. Show them support for stepping into the arena and sharpening their arguments tonight. before I start the timer for the Q&A, the chat Q&A, I usually like to ask a question or two to each debater myself based on things either I heard, arguments I want clarified, something I think deserves another pass, anything of this nature. And then after those are answered, we'll get to the official 30-minute Q&A. So for my first questions, I'll start with the affirmative here. If ICE kept like the same officers, same laws, same enforcement actions, but simply changed its name and internal structure, what would be the like specific practical outcome that would improve?
The only thing I think it would do, it would be a short-term issue kind of solvement just to try and diffuse the situation that's happening at the moment. I think that would be the only plea and try to try and just diffuse this insanity that's happening in the moment, to turn people away from that, at least get a few good months of blind eye from it. Was the point I was trying to get across there. Like JS said, in a couple of years, maybe it may even be 2 years, it's going to come back to the same point where people are just going to start pushing back in the streets and doing the exact same thing they're doing. But for a meantime, for just kind of a lull and a break in the tension, I think it would be something that would help with the situation.
Just as a clarifier, when you say the situation at hand, you mean like the protests and
The
riots,
protests,
okay.
the attacking and
attack
on the.
And did you have any? Sorry, did you have anything for that, JS?
I'd say there's other solutions to calm the public down. Like when Trump went and had a meeting with Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, he went and had a meeting and he said, basically the compromise was, I'll pull some of these guys off the street, but you need to start doing your prison turnovers, because a lot of the counties weren't turning the immigrants over to ICE while they were in jail. They were letting them back out on the streets. That's why we needed such a ground force in these cities, is because there's a lot of rapists and criminals just walking the streets because they got let out of jail. So if we could get those people while they're in jail, then we need less guys on the street. We can take some guys off the street. So we do this thing to affect the public perception, and you haven't seen as much of it in the news, but I think they're still out there. Like a lot of this is just what we see. We don't, if they show you less of it on the news, you think it's happening less, but these people are crazy. They're out there. They don't have anything to do. It's like old ladies. Like, I don't think changing the name fixes it. I think there's nothing we can do that is going to calm these people down. But
all right. And then my second question for the affirmative is, if like public protests justify like all this shit that's happening here, if this justifies the like restructuring of an agency like ICE, should that same principle like apply to like any law enforcement agency that's facing like large protests?
I don't think we've seen it quite as bad since Black Lives Matter against the state police, but have we really ever seen it against a federal government operation? Is kind of where my mind.
No, I just mean if we were to.
If we were to, no, like it shouldn't happen in the first place. It shouldn't. Like I said, it should have got accelerated a lot quicker than it did, and I think we wouldn't have been in that situation. So, but no, there's not much you can do. You can't change it. You have the right to protest in the streets. You just don't have right to interfere, right?
All right. And then do you have anything for that, Jess?
Say we have seen outrage against federal branches during like Vietnam. They were protesting the military and just the government in general. They're just out in the streets, what do they call them? Love children, or the flower childs, the hippies. They were all protesting a war. So, I mean, we see they protest Israel and Palestine. They protest what we're doing in Iran. They protest federal stuff all the time. Are we going to restructure the military?
Yeah, no.
All right. And then, so for my questions for you, JS, my first one is, like if an agency enforces the law correctly, but has like extreme low public trust. Does that create any practical problem for its effectiveness?
It does, and that's what we've seen is um, if the public trust is so bad that people are going out there getting themselves killed to fight against it, this stops the ICE agents from doing their job. They can't get to the place and pick up the guy if there's 8 cars blocking the streets, protests of people following them around, stalking them. So yeah, bad public perception hurts their job performance.
All right. And then did you have anything for that, Wrath of Reason?
No, that pretty much hit it.
All right. And then my second one for you, JS, is what, if any, what would be like the specific reforms would you support for ICE? Like, or is the position that like right now the current structure that's optimal?
I mean, it'd be nice if we could go back to the amount of training that they had before. I knew that was going to be a big argument because that's a big complaint that a lot of people have is their training time was cut in half. And people hear that and they lose their mind. We don't know if maybe they're training twice as hard for half the time. But when people hear their training's been cut in half, people lose their minds. So if maybe it would placate the public if we said, okay, we're taking away the huge signing bonus, and we're going to train them at the normal speed like we were doing before. Maybe that would calm people down. But I don't know if it's worth if the juice is worth the squeeze. I think it's better that right now we're hiring people faster and we need more ICE agents.
All right. And did you have anything for that, Wrath of Reason?
To a little bit of an extent, but if you looked at at the start of the year, like they could have been training people longer and still they could be pulling them in influx right now. If they would have started when the problem started to arise and started training a lot more people, I think we'd be in a better situation. But like I said, it would have came down to stricter enforcement would have stopped where we're at.
All right.
They did huge hiring fairs, and they were where were they at? They had a table at some liberal event at some college. Well, it was at a college, and there happened to be a liberal event going on there, and they were all protesting the ICE table because they were taking in applications to hire people. Since Trump came in, he's been doing a mass hiring movement. We need more. They've offered more money, and they're trying to hire as many people as possible. So, but the training is less. They cut the training down. So that's the complaint. But we are hiring a lot. So.
All right. So we're going to get into the official Q&A. Remember, chat, you can send your we don't have too many super chats, so you can put your questions in the Q&A. We should be able to get to some unless more bump up or they have extensive convos over them. But get them in, chat, get them in, and just send in some support for the show, so we can keep this fire coming for you. But let's start this up here. First one that comes in is just a $2 from Sempiternal Chaos Says Nothing. Thank you very much for showing some support. I appreciate that big time. Jack of Blades for $5 says, to show support in the Bears, Easy, Alicia, and chat. Love you all. Just can't wait till I demolish you in our debate, JS. Vegeta is better. Cheers.
You're gonna concede too.
That's what I probably would have been better at.
He says you're gonna concede too. We gotta see that one now. Wicked Wally comes in for $5 and says JS keeps his channel name and doesn't even go on any urban adventures anymore, but he doesn't rebrand and does fine. Argument over.
Yeah. Just change the name.
I like it.
Yeah. And I do go on urban adventures sometimes.
He still does, guys. Come on. Blaster Bot comes in for $10 and says, if you roll ICE into a different agency, whatever agency gets those duties will just be called the new Gestapo. All it would be is an optic shift, and it would be more likely an L than a W.
Yeah. To an extent, right? But I'm a firm believer that too many chapters in a government just makes for more chaos, more money. It's just a way to expand. But
I agree
my
with
own
you. That's
belief
why we did the Homeland Security.
I think it should just all be one. You shouldn't even have like 15 other divisions. But
right. That's what we had. We consolidated 22 agencies to the Department of Homeland Security. So we put them under one roof. That's what we did in 2002. Because the problem that you're saying was a problem. We had a tangled ball of bureaucracy between all these different agencies. They weren't communicating with each other well. And when that happens, what you get is people are able to come to the country and get trained on how to fly planes and then crash them into buildings. So what they did is they said, let's put this all under one agency, the Department of Homeland Security. And that's how we get ICE.
That's what's up. All right. Next one comes in from Jeremy for $5. Says, Wrath, if we're past the point where Trump should be worried about optics, why is your whole basis of argumentation about bad optics ICE has currently?
I was trying to find a solution to like diffuse the situation that's already at hand. So the at hand, it's already hitting a point of chaos. To try and diffuse that situation and bring it down isn't trying like worrying about the optics. It's just trying to diffuse an already horrible situation.
Yeah, and that's why I was said, like, seems like you're saying the opposite thing here. You're saying diffuse the situation by giving them better training and rebranding them, but also inflame the situation by sending in the military. Like that would be the biggest escalation. Like that could put us in a real civil war if we. I mean, we did it. He did it already with DC, and that worked out well. And, you know, I was kind of like, maybe we need to do the Insurrection Act and go into all these sanctuary cities. But Trump is a smarter guy than me, and he's on a way higher pay grade, and he knew that that wasn't the right choice. And so he didn't do it. But that would lead to chaos.
Yeah.
All right. Next one comes in, $2 from Jack of Blades. Says, live in a red state capital regularly has protests.
Live in a red state capital regularly has protests.
Wouldn't it be blue?
I don't know. Yeah, capitals have protests. That's
Yes. Yes, they do.
Is it a red state with a blue city around the state capital? Because that's usually what happens. Is you'll.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he's getting at.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. $5 comes in from William. Thank you very much. William says the name is United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It isn't simply ICE.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is three.
I think it's a point out like rebranding. It does like it's not ICE. It's not just ICE. That's just like a acronym.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's.
Yes.
Pointing out.
But
he's trying to say like there would just be a new acronym that they would, you know.
It really doesn't even matter because these people don't even know who they're protesting. Like the one situation in Portland where 2 people got shot, that was Border Patrol that shot them. And the people were out there, fuck ICE, ICE. And it wasn't even ICE. They don't know who they're protesting. They just protest anybody, police, ICE, FBI, CIA. It doesn't matter. If you're going into a building and they think you're going after Abuelita, they're going to be there to protest.
All right. We got $2 comes in from Jack of Blades. Says, I want to applaud Wrath for good faith and learning.
Thank you, sir.
And then another $2. And thank you for that, Jack. Another $2 from Jack. Thank you very much. Says, yes, the capital is blue, rest of the state red, I believe.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens. Like I'm in Utah is a red state, but the state capital is in Salt Lake City, which is a blue city, and we have protests at the Capitol every weekend now.
Yeah, that's isn't that something how Texas is going right now too?
Yeah, with the capital of Texas, Dallas.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's blue. Yeah,
pretty liberal there, you know?
yeah, because usually around the capital, big urban cities will form around the capital, and it goes out from there. And so wherever the big cities are and there's dense populations, it goes blue. Over socialization or something. I don't know.
All right. So that's it for super chats. Let me move over here to the Q&A. We'll see if we have any in the Q&A here.
Come on, chat. Stop being a bunch of furry lovers. Get those donos in. Come on.
All right, we got some here in the Q&A. Sleepy Man Bad. Here, let me try and highlight it so I can bring it up over here. Ah, fuck. So weird how this works. Excuse me. Right here. There we go.
They said my hat was probably made in China. Look at that. Made in USA.
Oh,
Booyah.
shit.
Booyah.
He had to check too before he showed off that. Sleepy Man Bad says, JS, only 2 ICE officers have been unalived on duty by something other than the buck. Are we putting too much emphasis on public servant safety instead of the public, in particular in regards to masks? I don't know why it didn't put that. Oh, there wasn't enough room. In regards to masks.
So he's saying, can we demask them because they're not really at risk, because they're not dying and being killed? But they've been wearing the mask since ICE was formed. This is one argument the left will make a lot, is that they act like secret police because they're totally anonymous. Their information is kept from the public. They wear masks. They get in and out, and most people never even know they're there. That's why they're not dying in huge numbers, is because they've been like that since they were formed. We don't know if we take the masks off and get rid of that, if they might start getting killed like crazy. But maybe you're right. I don't know.
All right. Next question comes in from Mr. Constantine. Says, Wrath of Reason. So you want the army to take the place of ICE, seeing that the lukewarm IQs hate it. Would you want those same people then hate the army? Because that's what will happen.
I don't think it would come to the point that they'd hate him, but they'd sure as hell respect him a lot more. I think if you were standing in front of a military enforcement instead of an ICE agent who's like a border patrol agent, I think you're going to have a lot more thoughts in your head of who you're going to respect more and who you're going to try to push your boundaries with, right? Is to the point to where I was thinking that force would be a lot stronger than having a patrol agent standing in, or it's even a jail guard standing in front of you, or a man suited up in military, right?
What's the posse comitatus or whatever, that we can't just send the military to attack American people, and we can under certain dire situations if we do the Insurrection Act, but that's almost a declaration of war, and they will hate the military. They already hate the military. These people hate everything American. So I don't know. I just don't see that as a better solution.
Just a quick question to what you said, JS. Wouldn't it technically not be Americans they're going after, though?
Well, I'm guessing that the reason that we're sending the military in isn't to do the deportations and the detaining of the illegals. It's to deal with the protesters. So that would be Americans.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, Shantae bumps herself up here quick to say, nice looking China hat.
It's not a China hat. It's American.
It's American. America. Next question comes in from the original Vintage and says, how does changing the name from ICE to something else do anything? Why would people not just change their protest signs to fuck whatever new name is?
Yeah. Like this has been like the third question. I think it would just state it's just to diffuse the situation going on at hand. If you came out with something, it's more of a like Jeremy said, it'd be more of an optics thing, right? It's just to try something new with the situation.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of this guy because when I was researching this, I just typed in "abolish ICE" on YouTube, and there was an interview with a New York congressman, and this was his whole argument. He's like, "We need to abolish ICE," and then the guy starts asking a couple questions, and pretty soon you find out, well, it's not abolish ICE. We just need to rename them. And I was like, wait, this is not. I don't think this is really a solution.
Is there power behind the rebrand?
I mean, you'd have to tell the people. You'd basically just have to change the name, but you'd have to tell the people we're rebranding them, and it comes with this new thing. You have to like put flowers and do like a commercial and stuff, and make it look really pretty, and be like, "This is the new nice." And
New man.
The new nice.
A very gentle voice has to do the announcement. You have someone, we're going to be very caring, and basically just bullshit. I mean,
welcome in, guys.
Welcome.
This is
the new
nice.
You add an N on all the vests and stuff, but they do the same thing. I don't think.
And change their colors to the rainbow flag, right?
Yeah. Give them rainbow bulletproof vests, and
Based.
Instead of handcuffs, they'll use like I don't know, weird sex straps or something.
Oh Jesus!
Furry handcuffs.
Furry handcuffs. Yeah,
There you
pink
There you
fluffy handcuffs.
Yeah. Next one comes in from Mrs. Foxworth. Says, Wrath, you mentioned fully automatic assault rifles, which is inaccurate. But if your concern is weapon policy or training standards, wouldn't that apply to many law enforcement agencies, not just ICE?
Yes, but all other law enforcement agencies have almost 4 times the training, and to allow them to hold that weapon as an agency. So state police is a minimum of 44 weeks, right? So, and to even become FBI, you have to have 44 weeks of equivalent plus 18 weeks of training again. So you have to go above and beyond to become even an FBI agent, right?
Yeah, he's not wrong with his critique of the training time. This is a good argument that the other side makes against what ICE is doing wrong. Is they cut the training time in half because we need a lot of people really quickly, and this is a problem. This is going to lead to more bad situations, more accidents, more mistakes. But also, even if they were trained just as long, but we hired double the ICE agents, we would see double the mistakes. Like if you have more agents doing more deportations quicker, you're going to see more mistakes. It's just something that's going to happen regardless. But I get the training time.
Like you're saying, with higher numbers, it's just higher chance.
Yeah. And with more attention on it. So like I think a lot of this stuff, it's just the media coverage. They constantly talk about it and cover it, and they push these ideas. They're not trained. They're thugs in the streets with masks. And so then they cover the outrage, and then it gets worse, and then they cover that, and it gets worse. And I think a lot of it's just a media propaganda issue.
Okay. We have two that bumped themselves in here. Jeremy said hat made in China, tag made in U.S.
I don't know if that's legal. I don't know. Maybe that would be a good trick.
Would be, huh? And it wouldn't be
On the
I
back
think
of
it
the tag
actually
in small
technically
letters.
would,
It's like-
or on the hat somewhere, right?
yeah, there's
It
like
could have been.
tag
It
somewhere
could have
in
been
the
a
hat.
sticker too. He never touched it.
And then Shante with $2 says JS put that tag on himself.
There it
No.
is.
I don't got time.
I don't
for
know.
all
He
that.
had to check it before he told you what it was. So
I have some other ones. Maybe they're made in China. This one doesn't say. Anyway.
knockoffs. No.
Oh wait. Yeah, I don't know.
Next one that comes in is from Johnny McVito. Says, if ICE was given more authority to detain anyone impeding an operation, and if the protesters faced more strict criminal charges for their disruptions, do you think the dynamic would shift toward ICE?
Yeah.
Well, ICE already has authority to detain anybody that gets involved. That's why when you hear they're out here arresting American citizens, that's because those people are interfering. They are allowed to arrest the protesters if they get they have immunity if they shoot the protesters, which we're seeing with the Alex Preddy thing. They
See, this is where I think some of my training comes into play. I believe if they were more trained when the situation started, they would have been more likely to enforce the law when it was needed to. They wouldn't have shied away from it like they did, and the problem wouldn't have became as big as it did.
well, they're
That was
told,
one of the arguments I put forth, but it's like I said, I came in with an open mind, and I've shifted. I've shifted. You've already convinced me opposite of what I came into the debate. Thinking, right? So
they have authority to detain and arrest anybody that gets involved, but they're told, let's not be arresting American citizens if we don't have to. Let's not, because the optics, just because of optics, we need to look like we're doing our best to not engage these people. And like they're getting harassed all day in some of these places. They get followed around, and like I think we need to go after the people who are organizing these protests and the people who are in the signal chats tracking them and stalking them. But the local police need to do that.
I thought they were already doing that, but I don't know where that went to, because I know they found out a whole bunch of information of who was funding it and who was behind it, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I think we're still working on it. It's just gonna take time.
Yeah, just
that's why Trump declared Antifa a terrorist organization. That's why he had that, we're uncovering the fraud in Minnesota. He had that big influencer meeting, and then we see these influencers are getting like scoops on stories that nobody else gets access to, and it blows up like the Minnesota fraud thing. Like, I think Trump's working on it.
Next one comes in from Mrs. Foxworth. Good question too. What exact training modules are missing from ICE training programs today?
What did they cut out? I read it yesterday. Go ahead, Jess, and then I'll think of it.
I'm not sure. I just know that the time was cut in half. I probably should have looked more into this. I can look up something.
I do believe actually some of it was into the de-escalation fundings. Like they took certain like ends of weeks out of it, which was parts of the program. They never took it all specifically out of one, but I know that they cut back. I think it's 28 steps, and they cut them all back about a quarter or so.
So
according less of everything.
According to the DHS.gov, new ICE recruits receive 56 days of training and an average of 28 days on the job training. No training requirements have been removed. Training increased from 5 days a week to 8 hours a day to 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. So, like I said, maybe the training length, the length of time was cut shorter, but they're doing more intense training, and now they're doing more on the job training. So no training modules have been removed. They're just fast tracking it. It's more intense and it's a shorter period of time.
I remember reading, but you can't like intensify something in a shorter period of time and not lose the effectiveness, right? I remember reading something on that too.
I mean, instead of 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, you go to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. You've just increased 12. I gotta do math. You've just increased 18 hours a week. So you reduce the length of weeks down, but you're getting an extra 18 hours a week, and then they're doing on the job training, more on the job
Sorry,
training.
Yeah, but I think even overall total, so that's still 14 weeks of training. To me, that's still an undermining of training that needs to happen for a federal officer, no matter which way it was. Even if it was 26 weeks, I'm still not even comfortable with that. Would you be? That's still half of a state agent or a state police officer.
I don't know. This sounds like the same things that I heard with Abolish the Police. They're saying the police aren't trained enough. They need more training. They put their knee on George Floyd's neck, even though they were trained to put their knee on George Floyd's neck.
Yeah, that was the stupidest argument they ever made. That is in their training, right?
But you're kind of making the same argument now. You're saying they're not getting trained enough, like, because why do you say that? Because what they're doing looks bad sometimes?
No, because they have a very important job and they're part of a federal government, which is higher than a state government. Right? Your position is more important than a state government, yet your training is half of what a state requires to do.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if local police are less important than ICE agents.
It's not that they're less important, but you're put on a different stage as soon as you become part of the federal government, right? You're representing a country instead of a state. There's 52 states in one country.
Yeah, but one, you're anonymous, and one, you wear a name tag and have to say your badge number every time that you're asked. Like, so I don't know if the stage are. I see what you're saying, but I don't know if that being put on a bigger stage is a good argument, because you're really on a smaller stage. You're less known if you're in the federal government.
But would they not have been more well prepared for what is happening right now if they were better trained? I think they would have been. And I think it would have, like I said, they would have been making the arrests that should have been happening, that were allowed to go on for so long because of the inexperience. And that's where the mob factor started. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Like, I don't think that had anything to do with less training. I think that just had to do with the media and the message that's being pushed.
All right. Next question comes in from Cross Current. Says, has ICE done anything to earn a lack of trust? Anything at all?
You go first.
I mean, there's probably more of a question, I guess.
Yeah, it's more.
Has ICE done anything to earn a lack of trust? For me, not really. For the public en masse, yeah, they killed Alex Preddy and Renee Good, and that's what has earned them a lack of trust. I'm not saying that they were unjustified in doing that, but through doing that, the optics of it, the coverage of it, that earned them a lack of trust in a lot of people's eyes.
And to me, I think the lack of trust, like I keep going back to this point, started with the allowing of the situation to get to this point that it's at. How do I explain that? I got lost my point there.
You know,
I've been up since 3 a.m. So
I was shocked to learn this, but you know, the majority of Americans agree with you. In polling, this is the more popular. Abolish ICE is more popular than keeping ICE, how it is right now. So you're actually taking the more popular stance, and I think that's a problem. And that's why it's actually good that we did this because other people, and these are right-leaning people too. There's enough people that support abolishing ICE that some of them are on the right, and they're saying they're not doing their jobs right. They're not trained enough. This looks really bad. People are getting killed. We need to abolish ICE. And so it's good to show that when you really drill down into it, what are you proposing? A name
Yeah.
change.
And that's why I always come into a debate with an open mind, and I can factually say I was started the debate on one side, and now I'm back onto the other side, right? So these are great things to have, or these debates. They shine the truth of. It'll reel back in the real ones, you know.
I'll agree with you if we can change the name and change the messaging and what we're telling the public without some huge logistical nightmare of reforming the entire structure of ICE and the DHS and the government. If we could just change the name and market them differently and that worked, I'd be on board with that. But I wouldn't call that abolishing ICE.
Yeah, for sure.
Posture Coding comes in for $5, says this question is for easy. How much of the proceeds from this super chat will go to Minar? Absolutely fucking nothing. That's how much.
Wait.
Absolutely fucking nothing.
I was saving that for the last minute, man.
I thought we changed the policy. I thought we were getting paid for this. We're not getting paid for
that
this.
was in our side contract when we signed up.
Gotcha.
For this debate, bro.
Abolish Swords of Reason.
Fucking guy. Next question. Last one actually comes in from Sweater. Says, Wrath of Reason, why should we care about the opinions of an extremely small minority that is the real root of chaos when they are losing politically? Should we capitulate to losers?
I think if you think that the left is an extremely small minority, which is the root of chaos, I think you're undermining how big the left really is. You are still at over like a 56 to 50% states between the two, right? The right was starting to grow, but hopefully it keeps growing and keeps going the way it is. But you were literally over 5 years ago, you'd be saying the exact opposite of what you think you're saying right now. Is that the right is the small minority, right?
I'd say you're right. The left is, somewhere between 48 and 55% of the population, somewhere in there. But that's the small minority he's talking about are these crazy protesters. That's not the majority of the left. That's the vocal minority that get out there and act like this. And I think I don't even think that the problem is as bad as we think it is. I think a lot of this is just what we're shown and what's fed to us by the media, because Texas and Florida are deporting more people than Minnesota and in places like this, and they're having less incidents. We're not seeing news coverage of crazy protests and stuff breaking out in Texas and Florida, even though they're deporting more people. So,
but their government's also using the state police to actually help, and they're handing over the illegal immigrants, right?
Right. So the problem isn't ICE. The problem is these sanctuary cities, these hard Democrat, hard blue cities, and these protesters.
Yep.
All right. With 5 seconds left on the clock, last one comes in from Shante for $5. Says, none for you, Minar. That's right. That's right. I raised this donkey, motherfucker. You don't get to keep it. But that right there, guys, is going to wrap up our Q&A for tonight. Thank you to everyone in the live chat for all the questions, the engagement, the support. This is what allows me to keep bringing you guys the Swords of Reason experience week after week, and I appreciate every single one of you. And, of course, a huge thank you as well to the debaters for stepping into the arena for tonight and sharpening their ideas in front of us all. Let me check real quick. Are either of you planning to stay for the open panel tonight?
I can stay for like an hour.
Yeah, I'm about the same, about an hour.
Okay, cool. So What's happening next is we're going to roll the debate outro song and video. It'll run for about 4 minutes. Perfect time for everyone. Hit the washroom, grab a drink, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do before the Chaos and Chill open panel begins. During that outro, I'm going to drop a link in the chat for anyone who wants to join. Test your ideas, continue the conversation on tonight's topic. Anyone is welcome to hop in. Just come ready, obviously. Think, question, debate. And if you're coming to try to troll, spurg over everyone, bring some personal dramas, you're just going to get muted and most likely booted real quick. So while you're ahead with that idea, just quit. And before we run the outro, one last reminder, make sure you subscribe to both the debaters. Their links are in the description, and I believe they're both live right now. So make sure you guys go over there, show them some love, show them some support for coming in and giving you guys a great show tonight. And also, if you enjoy the debates, make sure you hit subscribe on the Speakeasy channel as well so you don't miss any upcoming Swords of Reason battles Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. All right, let's roll the outro, and I will see you all in a few minutes for the Chaos and Chill.
Into the circle where the echoes collide. Truth through the static, no place to hide. Iron tongue, sharpen fire in our breath. We dance with conviction on the edge of death. Your words are bullets, mine are storms. Ideas forged where lightning forms. No retreat, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through lies with steel precision. No faith, no fear, just raw collision. We clash our swords of reason. Facts burn brighter than a prophet's flame. Egos crumble, but the truth remains. Every scar, a mark of thought's crusade. In the battlefield of minds we've made. Speak your truth, but bear the cost. Every claim can still get lost in the war of voice and vision. Feel the friction. We clash our swords of reason. No silence left for indecision. Ideas break with loud precision. We clash our swords of reason. Strike me with logic, I'll bleed my proof. We cut through chaos to carve out truth. Let the sparks fly, let the echo scream. This is no debate, it's a metal dream. We clash our swords of reason. In the storm of thought's collision. Forged in fire, pure precision. We clash our swords of reason. Reason bleeds but never dies. no retreat. In the war of words, we find out.
No.
Swords of reason.
Not what I was doing. And we're back. Welcome in.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
You guys did great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah, I think you did good for taking a tough position, especially for the side you were on. Like, you'd have a lot more arguments, but none of them would have been good if you were a lefty.
No,
So-
like I realized earlier today, like I said, I chose the wrong topic, but it's too late to back down, right? So I had to go with what I could and battle through it, right? So
I think
mean-
if you would have stuck, if I could give my critique here, if you would have stuck to the, because JS even admits that that's like a stronger part of the argument. If you would have stuck to the training part and maybe did a little more research into like what they've said has been cut, because like I actually did a little research into this too. So there's not like very, very strong, credible sources, but there is obviously the time faction that obviously you can't fit as much into. So they're like, if you just look at the training program, all the hours they have for each training program, obviously that part has to be cut. And then there's whistleblowers that have come out and said that these new people aren't getting hands-on scenario training, shit like this, right? So like, I think if you would have like stuck to that part, maybe you would have had like a little like been able to stand on without conceding so fast.
well, the worst part was I came
But
in.
you did good.
thinking,
You did good. And JS was fucking straight over prepared for this. He was ready. Like, there's no come on, I liked it.
I came in thinking that we should abolish ICE and change it, and then like halfway through the debate, he convinced my mind. Where am I supposed to go from that, right? So it's like, fuck.
I didn't research a whole lot into the training when I probably should have, but because I thought if he says they need more training, I'm just gonna say, yeah, I agree, but that's not a reason to abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Like,
Y'all want a lefty opinion?
yeah, sure.
All right. So, first thing, I just want to say there's one very specific reason early on that made me not trust ICE was Greg Bravino said he got hit with a rock, and that's why he tear gassed protesters. Later on, a few months later, he had to admit in court that he never got hit with a rock and he never saw anybody throw a rock. So that's early on, and that's in court. He retracted his statement. So,
And this happened before all of the Trump
this
stuff?
happened like 2025, before of the Preddy shooting, everything early. It wasn't covered very well, and because the court case took like 6 months for it to come out after it happened. But it was in that initial surge in LA, I think, that it happened. So that's just one reason why, like, when you start off lying like that, and then they've just came out, and it turns out that the 2 ICE agents lied. Now, I'm not going to put this on every ICE agent, but they lied. There's a story that came out about 2 guys got attacked with shovels. They had to drop the charges because it turns out they lied. So, and I'm not saying this is overall every ICE agent. I'm just saying when those
I
things
remember
are,
that case. Those people were running at them with shovels, right?
All I know is that they had to drop the case. They said that some of their evidence didn't line up. Okay. So whatever happened there, I don't know the whole story. And again, I'm not saying that's overall every single thing.
Would you support abolishing ICE?
Abolishing ICE, to me, this is going to be just like the civil rights. If you're going to say we're going to replace it with something else, sure, but I don't know if that's abolishing it. I think it's just adding on to it or changing it. There is some changes that I think the mask thing, and certain when you're targeting dangerous criminals, mask up. When you're walking down the street, not unless you until I see some actual attacks, because I haven't seen any. But if they're in danger, then I'm going to retract that. So I understand that's a balance.
I think the idea is they're in danger by the nature of their job.
And I understand that, but so are police officers.
Not to Mexican cartels.
But let me finish, because I think some of this may address some of those issues. You said there's fraud in Minnesota, so we send in ICE agents. But this is like paperwork.
No, the
fraud,
ICE
right?
agents were there before the fraud was
But then they did a surge after they said they were going there for fraud.
The surge was starting. I think people have like memory hold this or something. Democrats have memory hold people on this and made them think that it's because of Nick Shirley's video about fraud that we sent ICE in there. No, there were riots and protests happening in Portland and Minnesota before the Nick Shirley video about the fraud ever came out. People were covering the stuff that was going on in Minnesota
at the same time, and it got
yeah, but the immigration stuff was happening first, and then the Shirley video came out. Then what escalated was the protests and the violence due to those protests.
It all kind of escalated at the same time and all came together, so it made it look like they were coming in.
But Democrats are in Congress at a fraud hearing, and they're complaining about ICE. And so now Democrats have this idea that it's because of the fraud that we sent ICE in.
We can skip that, because my bigger things are, they say they're going after pedophiles. The FBI is much more.
This is what y'all do. Y'all jump from
no. I'm not saying they're not.
Epstein files.
Whoa,
to immigration to Somalian fraud.
You think I'm going somewhere where I'm totally not going?
All right, go
ahead. You are going where you're not going.
Isn't the FBI better equipped to handle pedophiles?
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
They're not. Isn't that what they do? Go after child sex trafficking? Isn't that what they're trained to do for a lot longer than the ICE agents?
So are you asking the FBI people are trained more than like police officers, like for different shit?
You're talking about Americans who are trading CP on the internet. ICE is going after illegal immigrants who came here and raped somebody.
Yeah,
and they're getting them out.
But doesn't the FBI go after child trafficking too? Who catches the child traffickers? That's the FBI. Why? And like, if there's a single person to go, absolutely.
HSI would go after traffickers internally and externally with the help of the FBI. They can work together on things.
Yeah, but why don't they just send the FBI in to get these guys?
If it's an American citizen who's a child exploiter, then they probably would send the FBI to arrest him.
Why not for the illegal immigrants?
Because
why not just have them go grab them?
Because they're different. They're going to different places. They're going through different processes. So
but a federal crime is a federal crime. The FBI can arrest you, or ICE can arrest you for being an immigrant. So why not just send the FBI? There'd be no protest.
If you're an American citizen,
protesting the FBI.
So you want to spread the FBI thinner?
Hire at the FBI instead of ICE?
No.
Yeah, but you look at your credentials.
Now, obviously, if it's one random one-off guy, then sure. But if there's like a pedophile ring, why would you send ICE after that? Why won't you send the FBI, who's much more trained, much better equipped, and that's what they do?
Cross current. I want to talk for a minute, and I won't take up very much time.
Go ahead.
Go very quickly. I'm going to give a larger overview. I'm going to give a backwards step back out of this overview. I don't, from a perspective of me. The first thing they should have done when Antifa and all of those people, every last one of them emerged, they should have ripped off their masks. They should have taken their bullhorns and their whistles, and they should have drugged them all away. Not one single citizen should be anywhere near a federal operation. I don't care. And if they have to, I don't care what they have to do to them. If you're parked sideways in the road and you get shot, that's on you. If you are interacting with federal officials and they kill you, that's on you. And masks for citizens, hard no. Did you know you're not allowed to wear a mask in the United States?
Hold on, Premonition. He's not talking about masks. He's talking about. I want to go back to his question.
But I'm backing up to the beginning of the problem, which was the Antifa people doing, getting aggressive and getting away with it in the very beginning. If
Yeah,
they
I
had
think
been
that is the
shut
root
I'm
of the
just
problem.
talking about how to de-escalate the whole situation and still be effective.
Okay.
The only way to de-escalate it is to get all of the illegals out of here as fast as we possibly can. We got 3 years. That's all we got.
Well, I have
We got
another
3
answer
years.
to your question about the FBI and the diaper snipers. So, ICE has plenary power, and under 8 U.S. Code, I think it's 813. I have it wrote down in my notebook, but it's closed now. But they have special warrant abilities where they can go in and grab, if we know you're an illegal immigrant and maybe you got let out of jail for some, sex charge. We can go in and we can grab you. We can send you to the special jail for the immigrants, and we can have you shipped to CCOT as soon as possible. If you're an American citizen, we can't do that. So we have to put you in a different prison, a federal prison.
Yeah.
And we monitor.
I'm just talking about to go get.
But so
specifically
why would
illegal
you not
immigrants.
want those 2 jobs allocated to do 2 different organizations that do 2 different jobs instead of consolidating it both to the FBI? Now you're spreading the FBI thinner. Why? Because their shirt says FBI?
Well, I'm just talking about ways you talking about they don't have enough training. The FBI
I'm
does
talking
have
about
enough
how
training.
is that a better solution to the problem of getting PDFs out of the country or in jail in the country?
I would argue that it's at least equal. It's more effective, and you can be more effective.
It's more
when the
effective to put them both under one.
What's
under the FBI.
what's more effective? The FBI pulling up and arresting somebody, or ICE pulling up and protesters getting in the way and that person getting away?
Well, if
Yeah,
an
why would you
American,
send the FBI though?
hold on.
to
If an
take that-
American citizen,
Not if it,
American
and again, this
citizen
isn't just for a regular immigrant. This is for somebody that you know has raped somebody or raped
if an
somebody.
American
or,
citizen is going to be arrested for that, they can watch them, they can monitor them, they can track them, and then they can go in and sit them down in an interrogation room, get them locked up for life. But if an illegal immigrant who's not on any books, if they're coming after him and he gets away, he's gone. He disappears. That's why ICE has plenary power to arrest them without a warrant.
yeah, but then after the FBI went and grabbed him, ICE could detain him.
Why doesn't
They
ICE
just-
grab them,
ICE-
detain them, and then the FBI? Like, it's just
I understand it's annoying, but
ICE does the job they're gonna do, and FBI, and they're 2 different jobs for 2 different situations. You're
Why-
saying
Like
make them both the
FBI has to
FBI.
handle camera terrorism, cyber attacks. They're doing a lot more than just.
no, yeah, they're
detaining
doing all
illegals.
kinds of stuff because they're really.
So when
really
you have a
The
branch that's
HSI
literally specialized for detaining illegals, why wouldn't you just send the right tool for the right job?
What do you say? Some people were getting is 12 weeks really that specialized?
The
in detaining
HSI
illegals?
has more plenary
Well,
power
when you also got to
than
learn
the FBI.
rights, you also got to rights. They have to learn about the 4th Amendment right to citizens. They got to learn about de-escalation tactics. They got to
Not
shooting.
with an illegal immigrant, they don't.
You don't think ICE has to learn about what happens if they run into
They
an
have
American
to learn all
citizen?
that stuff, but they're given
Yeah.
plenary power. They have
No,
they have
yes,
power.
but what he's saying, what
the
he's
only
saying
other
is that
people
they
that
have
have
to.
plenary power is like the executive branch.
I'm
and
just
the
saying that.
military.
I'm just saying how specialized are they if they have to learn all that in 12, 13 weeks? That's my only point.
It
I'm not
makes
saying
them
that
they
more
don't
specialized
learn
than a
all
random
that.
civilian.
They don't learn all that in 12, 13 weeks. The ERO guys are learning about how to detain and remove people. The HSI people are learning how to investigate. And then the ORLA are learning how to do law work. So they are specialized. You don't think they're training people for the OPLA to do on the ground like combat with protesters?
Yeah, obviously they're getting somewhat different training, but to say someone's super specialized in 12 weeks coming with no background in law enforcement would be kind of ridiculous.
You
to
also
me.
don't know that they're coming with no
More
background
than
in
the
law
regular
enforcement.
Some of them
You're
probably
automatically
some of them
assuming
do.
somebody can take 12 weeks.
But I don't see them hiring like some weasel 18-year-old from McDonald's.
Did you see the lady that they literally hired? She knows she failed the drug test and never submitted the background check, and she got put through.
I did not see that. So she
There's
didn't.
an article. She's got all the receipts. She
Okay,
never
so
submitted
she
the
lied.
background check. Yeah, she never did any of it. She's got all the
If
receipts.
she
and
never
it says
got the background
onboarding.
check, what are they supposed to research on her? She lied. And
They
got a
gave her
job.
the job
There should be no female ICE agents to begin with.
without submitting a background check.
There
They,
she is.
That's fine, but they gave her the job without a background check. Now, obviously, she didn't go because she did a whole story on it, but she had the receipts. She was on onboarding.
But you
Okay,
said she.
pause for a minute.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
You
So
guys,
how many cases of this was there?
I'm not saying it's widespread, but I'm saying there's definitely people that aren't law
She
enforcement
lied and slipped
background.
through a crack.
So why
There's
are we
other
talking
people
about
that showed up
zebras
and
when
had
we
to
need to
get
worry
pulled
about
out because it
horses?
turned out they had criminal convictions after
Again,
they were already halfway through training.
Some
They've had a
mistakes are
lot of
going to be
mistakes.
made. Some mistakes are going to be made because we've got to act quick and
So my question is,
strong.
how many mistakes is acceptable? What's the
If
acceptable
the
level of
American
mistakes?
citizens
I don't know
would
how many
stay
grains
out
of sand make a
it,
pile of sand.
if the American
Yeah, I mean,
people cross current, if the American people, if the Americans would stay out of it and let these men do their work, and I mean men, no women, we could get this taken care of. If we don't get this taken care of, we're cooked. We got
yeah, well,
that's
but that's
it.
the
All right,
protesters.
let me
No
see if I can.
protesting. No
let me see if I-
protesting allowed.
Exactly.
Okay, let me see. Okay, that's my first love of the First Amendment is never going to allow me to agree
I
with
know,
that.
you know what? When it comes to
You can stand and shout, but you can't block officers from
No,
trying
yeah,
to.
and
or
I'm not going to
agents
argue with
from trying
that.
They can't get anywhere near them.
And guess what? If they just had a, you know what, instead of pussyfooting around, it's like, hey, we've asked this person 57 times to move their vehicle. Just fucking, hey, you know what? Once, twice, 3 strikes, you're out. You're
All right.
fucking taking it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's fine. That's fine. They don't move their vehicle, they should get arrested. I'm not,
No, more.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing. Yes.
what more?
And they should
Arrest
get
or
the same
charge? What do you
and
want?
minimum,
You want them to put you
minimum
to death
3.
for that? No, I'm not putting them to death.
No,
for that.
minimum 3
But
days. 3 days in prison, so they
3
can't
days in
disrupt any
prison,
more
sure. If you
operations.
get told 3
3 days
times
in
not to move
jail.
your car and you won't move your car, then you quote me. You can throw them in
Or
jail for
jail,
3
I'm
days.
sorry.
Totally okay with
You
it.
try to run over a nice agent, you get what you get. I don't care. The Americans are the ones screwing this up. And
So
it's
let me
really
ask you something though.
irritating.
If I'm walking down the street and ICE stops me and asks me for my ID, is that okay?
You show them your ID. You're an
Yeah.
American.
Do you have a reason not to?
Does he have reasonable articulable
Doesn't matter.
justification? Okay, no, that's fine.
What
What if he
do you
says?
not-
What if he says, "Hey, I don't think this is a real ID. I'm going to hold you," and holds me for 3 more hours?
Okay,
So-
then guess what? Then you have a case against him. You can sue him for,
Yeah.
hey, you're holding me against my will. And it's like, do you think he's going to go that far when he could possibly face a suit that's going to
What
charge
if I
him?
told you I have a friend going through this lawsuit for exactly that?
Then
Well,
your friend's
sure.
probably going to win
Well,
some
I don't
money.
know if he's.
Probably,
don't know
but
if
are you guys okay with violating people's Fourth Amendment? That's my question.
For now, until we get the invaders out,
I would
absolutely.
be fine with it. If,
So,
an,
okay,
if an ICE
so-
officer pulled
All
me
right,
over,
all
said,
right, that's
hey,
fine. You guys just want to go against the
If-
Constitution. I'm not
No.
gonna. That's fine. My argument's the Constitution. That's the
If
argument
ICE,
this
okay,
if
is.
so
ICE
yeah,
does
that's
that
right.
to
The
me, I'm going to show
Constitution
them.
allows you free
If a
reign to
cop
do
does
whatever
that
the
to me,
fuck you
I'll
want
show
in
them my
America
ID
with
and then
no
I'll sue 'em.
consequence.
Yeah, agreed. But
That's
I'm
the
still not
Constitution.
okay with. I'm just not okay with that being the regular order of things. Like that's
That's
kind
always
of a police
always been the
Well,
regular order of things.
here's perfect. I'm so glad you said that. The regular order of things. What's regular about the situation right now? We have
are invaded.
Okay.
absolutely been flooded by illegal immigrants.
It's always been the order
Well,
of things that
I
if
have-
cops wrongly
I have
detain you
family
and
that
ask you
lives in
for your ID, you
Minneapolis.
show them your ID and then you sue them. That's
I have
always been
family
the
in-
order of operations.
I have
And
family in
ICE has a
Minneapolis.
different level of power, but they don't get that power to violate your Fourth
Again,
Amendment
if you
unless
guys
they
okay
know
with-
that
if you-
you're unless they
if
know
you
that
guys
you're
are
an
okay
illegal
with the
immigrant.
Fourth,
If
with
they
them,
have
I
knowledge
can't
and
argue if you're
intel-
okay with that. I can't argue with you guys if you're okay with them violating your rights. I can't argue with it. It's
I'm-
there's
you have
nothing to
two
talk
options.
Even
about.
as
It's
an American
You do what they
citizen,
say and get a payout at the end because they broke the law, or you fight them and get shot. What are you gonna do?
I'm not saying
That's
you should
always
fight him.
been-
I'm just saying that you guys are awfully okay with it, and that's not. I'm
What
not
do you
okay
mean?
with that.
That's always
because
been the
if
way it
it's
is. If
for
a
the
cop makes a
greater
mistake,
good, then of course we're going to be okay with it. If the ends justify the means, then this. I mean, what
Where does
argument
that
would you have
stop?
there?
Where does that stop?
It stops when all the illegals are out.
It's
But if the
Boom.
ends justify the
Felipe.
means, then don't you have to get rid of all the people who want the illegals here? Like, where do you
What?
stop?
Well, now there's an interesting question. You mean like the people, funding the protests to keep them here and keeping the illegal votes for, keeping them in power? I mean, that's an
you guys
interesting
are making
question.
the wrong argument that we should just let them do this. The argument is this is how it's always been done. If a cop violates the Fourth Amendment or the 14th Amendment, well, then that's due process. But if a cop violates the Fourth Amendment, then what are you going to do? You either
How do you sue them if they won't ID themselves?
that's
That's
the
ridiculous.
difference with ICE.
That's
So-
ridiculous.
That's the issue my friend's having right now. Identifying the officer to sue.
Sorry for your friend, but it doesn't matter. We were
They
invaded.
call authorities.
So it
Gotta
doesn't
get them out.
matter if they violate Americans' Fourth Amendment rights. That's if
your
that's
friend was just
argument.
walking down the street, or was
He was
Yeah.
walking down the street in an area in Chicago that has high for immigration during the raid. He complied. They said it was a fake ID. He went up. He grew up in went to elementary
and
school.
what, he got detained on the sidewalk for 3 hours.
He got detained. He is originally Brazilian, but he got his citizenship in 2007, the year after we graduated.
Was he
so he's
taken?
been a citizen.
Was he
citizen
taken to
for over 30
Alligator Alley for 3?
No,
or
he
out-
was taken to the detention center and let out. But
Okay.
why is
Oh
he
my
being
God.
detained for walking down the street,
And-
being an
okay,
American
that
citizen
I'll
with
say
his
that's
ID?
that's wrong. That shouldn't
Because-
happen.
And who does he
but
sue
even
now?
then-
How does
but
he?
even then,
How
it's
does he
reason-
get? Who does he
I don't
sue?
know. Well, we'll set. Maybe he'll be setting
That
precedents.
because we also have a right to face your accuser.
tell
and
him
he
to run it
can't.
up. Tell him to run it up the
Yeah.
flagpole. Get it to the Supreme
He's
I
Court.
wanna talk
trying.
to
It's
you.
not like
They
it's
have
to go clear.
cameras. All they have to do is go look at the camera at who he was talking to, and go to the detention place.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot
sue
more
him.
work
It doesn't matter.
But that's
have
not
to get
normal
rid
for
of the
you. Can
illegal
usually you could say,
aliens.
"Hey, sir, I need your name and badge number," especially as an American citizen.
This is a red
Well, then-
herring. You're doing a red herring. It doesn't matter. You comply with a federal officer or a police
He
officer.
did.
What they
He
say.
did comply.
Okay,
And
then.
say-
You'll be fine.
Detained and punished for no reason.
I'm sorry for looking Brazilian.
he was
Yeah.
punished.
Yeah, you wouldn't say being
He was-
detained for 3 hours by the federal government is not punishment?
I would say it's a minor inconvenience, but if it's one of those things where, hey, you know what, they were in the wrong, I'm in
he
the
had to
right,
miss his day
I
at
get
work, so he
compensation.
missed out on pay.
There you
I
go.
mean,
Hey, we're sorry for the
he's got a
inconvenience.
kid he had to go take care of. Like, that's not okay.
He didn't have a significant other to pick up the party, or
This
pick
is
up
the
kid,
secret
or-
police argument.
Yeah, but
No,
hey,
and I'm not saying this is
herring.
all the time, but like when you guys don't even acknowledge this becomes this is why they
No,
call it
so
secret
what-
police.
no, wait,
Because you won't even say,
wait.
hey, this stuff needs to stop. We need to get this right. You need to take the time to make sure that's not an American citizen before you take them somewhere.
I agree.
But,
I agree on getting things
but
right.
that's why when I asked,
So
when I
what
wrote the
extra
question and I
steps?
asked, have they done anything not to earn public trust other than for the public not to trust them other than you did say the shootings, which is fair, and I agree. And I'm not necessarily saying they were bad shoots either. I'm just saying the situation
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yep.
But
You
when
came in.
these things
You
happen,
came in
But
on
you
a
know what?
different point.
and
You came in on a
no.
different-
Yeah, I did come here to make a point. My point was to say that there's
It's
these
a-
things that you don't see, just like there's things on the left that the left doesn't see.
No,
And as long as you guys are
Well,
focused
no,
on
it's
your,
a
on
good
both-
anecdote, but
You
and
brought
as
up-
long
you
as the
brought
people
up a
are
point.
focused on what the other side is
So-
doing wrong instead of what your own side is doing
You
wrong,
know, you made an argument.
one's
on,
ever
you
gonna
made an
change
anecdotal
anything.
argument, which is fine. I can grant you that may have happened.
it's
but I
you
that
can look it up.
sucks.
It's happened multiple times. It's not just him. There's people
So
that have been
what?
taken to Texas and not
One
getting
at a
their cases
time. One
back.
at a time.
So what if it's happened multiple times? So what? We have to get out like 50,000 people out of here. So what if a couple of people get
no,
wrongly
30
asked?
million. 30
Yeah, I
million.
know. I know.
You're all right, Prem. You're all right.
I really do. I know the real number. But so what if, okay, once a month, some American gets asked for their ID. So what? So what?
Yeah.
We've
if
got to
that's
get
what
down
was
to
happening,
business, or
then
we're going to lose our country.
agree.
I
with
agree
you.
with you. That sucks. But I mean, that's actually not a bad anecdote compared to some that I would hear, which is that he got sent away to Alligator Alcatraz. He got jumped to 8 different jails. We never knew where he was. And then finally we recovered him starved and shivering for life, holding on for dear life.
Yeah,
After
I'm not going to
rescued him
say
from
I'm not
Alligator
going to I'm not going to
Alcatraz.
sit here and like overindulge the situation. I'm just trying to say
You
that there's
bet-
these
you
things
brought
that
up-
happen.
Well, I think I had left someone in the back. I seen someone else just left. Sorry, whoever was in the back, come back up. I'll bring you in. Or oh no, that was Jeremy that dropped off. Okay,
Oh,
Avarice
Avarice.
was there too.
I thought you were holding out. I thought you were just waiting patiently because you knew I was going to explode on fucking
Yeah, it's about
numbskull
to get
over here.
fucking loud.
No, I
Okay.
didn't. But let's try and let everyone get their points off. You know what I mean?
I'll shut up. Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm-
I think
his
Jeremy was
anecdotal
trying to
makes
get something off.
absolute-
Let
yeah.
let Jeremy finish off what he was trying to get off there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's snoring pretty bad here, so I lost the internet for a second. But the point I was getting at is you made the statement about that the reporter who got offered a job without doing the background check and all. I don't know if you've ever had a job outside of like McDonald's or something like that where they offer you the job and then start talking start dates and things like that. In any real job, which would include like law enforcement or I work in IT, and I get offer letters from job offers all the time without the background check or drug test or any of that stuff. I get the offer first, then I accept it or decline it. If I accept it, then they go and do the background check and all of that. I just researched your exact story. Her statement is she was offered the job, which
She
meant
was onboarding.
she was offered
Onboarding. If you watch the video
Yeah,
she
I
made,
read
she was
that
onboarding.
It says she was
Watch the
offered-
video she made afterwards when people tried to say that what you said. She made a video showing the onboarding.
And it's when you're onboarding, it's when you
Oh.
get background check. Just like when you're in the military, you get you go through MEPS, they do background check. Then while you're through basic, if you're through a secret clearance,
Even
if you're like
throw
a
that
hold
out.
on,
I still want to
hold
hear.
on. Even if you're through basic and you get a TOS clearance, right? Even if you cleared secret, at basic, they still go do all the questioning while you're in the middle of basic onboarding. So it doesn't matter what process you're in until you're officially in the company and like a member of their staff. The whatever process they go through is not complete.
I've worked a lot of corporate jobs, and every time I got to onboarding, it was after my background.
That's
check.
that's not.
So
I
you
worked.
were, so
Okay,
you were
well,
bad,
I
so you
worked.
were full-time
That's cool.
and-
I worked a lot of corporate jobs too.
Yeah,
It's not the
salary,
same. There's always
full-time.
There's always
I've worked sales
always
for
a period.
major
There's always a
insurance companies.
termination
clearance.
period.
Major hotel
Fully trained.
companies.
So you're saying that they're into contracts when you first start. There's never a termination period for the first onboarding period. There's never like
No, I'm not.
you know,
I'm not
for-
going to say that, and there could be in this situation. All I know is that it got to the onboarding
exactly.
stage. There
So
might
let's-
be- I'm not going to say.
I think you
if
already
you showed me
conceded
evidence
that
of that, I would probably. Yeah, I'm not going to say here.
so let's cycle back to the
argument
let's
was
cycle
not
back to the
compelling at all.
let's cycle back to this other one with
Well,
the
let's go
ICE
back to
agent
the
not
Brazilian
being.
guy
Yeah,
that was
hold on.
walking down the
That's where I
sidewalk
want to go. That's
innocently.
exactly where I want to go. This is perfect because we all know how I acted public. All right, and
Yeah.
JS, I came off another stream just to make sure we got here because everybody knows I heckle these people like crazy. So the real question is do you have evidence of this event?
Let me see if I can get him up here.
Okay.
If he's
Sure.
Online. I don't personally know, but I'm sure I can.
Wait, he's not
Because-
still detained in
If he I
Guantanamo?
swear, if he comes up and he's like, "It was a cold, rainy day."
No,
I
No,
was in the
he's,
rain for like 6
Okay.
hours.
he actually ended up graduating from MIT. He speaks perfect English.
Sure. I'm just saying that because it seems like there's a lot of holes, right? A cop asking for ID, a police officer asking for ID, there's nothing wrong with that. Or like, to be honest, there's nothing like that really breaks the amendment.
No,
Now,
it-
hold on.
That's not the
Uh,
big issue, obviously.
Hold on. Now, if a person ends up being like aggressive or defensive and not wanting to show their ID, actually, that's cause. That's what I do, right? That's actually starts building cause for the police officer. So if this friend of yours was confrontational to the police officer, going, "Why should I show you my ID?" Hey, guess what? You just started cause.
He said he gave him the ID, and they said it was fake. Like,
He didn't
'Cause-
say that. He didn't say. He
or they
immediately-
thought it was fake.
He didn't. He didn't say whether he argued it or was evasive. He didn't just
Yeah.
pull it out like I would.
So
he-
we don't know any of this situation of
Yeah,
how
that's fair. That's
how
fair.
it was, right? And then on top of it, we don't.
And
what
I've
if
got,
the-
I mean,
what
I've got
was
no way to prove that to you. nor
what
would I
was
I'll
the
be,
con-
I'll be
so.
charitable and say that he was a great guy.
Sure,
and he's
let's say I was
well-spoken,
being
and he's just
charitable.
walking down the street.
What was the condition of the ID?
Again, I don't know.
What
He was in
state
very
was it
good shape.
from?
Of course, there could be a lot of situations here, but I know they ultimately let him go with no charges.
Again, I ultimately get let go with no charge. All the way, I literally go through TSA with no ID. JS can prove this. Like I saw me get all the way to
I
Nashville,
believe you.
no ID.
So my point is, you don't think that at any point in time they've made any mistakes?
Dude, mistakes happen, bro.
Do you think that we should call out those mistakes when they happen?
Yeah.
I think they do get called out.
And do you think the ICE agents that make the mistake should be held accountable?
Again, it determines on what you think a mistake is and what I think a mistake is.
And obviously level of accountability.
Like here's the question. Here's the question.
Yeah,
Do
but
I call out every mistake you make on documents for every piece of paper you turn in? Like for every time you don't cross a T or don't dot.
Yeah,
those are mistakes.
Do you think an ICE agent could just like
you should probably get a
reprimand
reprimand and say, hey, pay more attention to your paperwork for that.
Do you think if an ICE officer walked into one of these protests and just started mowing down protesters, do you think he'd just be all right? He'd be fine. He's totally
obviously not. But
okay, so certain mistakes are going to rise to a level to where that's going to demand repercussions.
When we grant
any repercussions for any ICE agents that have made mistakes yet?
Well, we don't know where that's going to be yet, right? And
you
don't know what. Again, we don't know what.
I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just
be.
saying that these are going to be. There's a lot of people that feel like ICE agents have done something wrong. So if you want them to be more, if you want people to stop protesting, that's
I think. Hold on. But here's the question. I got a question for you.
To be clear, wait. Let me reverse that. I'm not about abolishing ICE. So
let me reverse that. There's a lot of people that think the protesters have done something wrong. Where is their arrests?
Agreed. They should be. If they do something wrong, they should be arrested.
But they 100%. All do.
I don't know if they all do.
Okay, well, excuse me. Yeah. Most of them are doing something wrong.
Again,
incongruent of the majority, right? Because once the majority starts doing something, they all start doing it. Like
if any of them interfere with the arrest or operations in any way, they should be arrested. If they're standing on the sidewalk 50 feet away from everything they're doing with their phone, then I'm not going to.
Are we saying that protesting is wrong?
No, what we're saying is protesting that doing illegal. What about people that are actively telling people to actively break the law? How about them?
People that are on their phone?
I think that would probably be.
And they're saying, "Here's the license plate. Here's the
guys. You guys are just like gunshotting a bunch of different things. I'm trying to figure out what you guys are even saying.
Yeah, I got a lot. Yeah,
it's hard to even figure out what you guys are even saying. Are you guys saying protesting is what they're doing is wrong?
No, we're saying the people that are doing illegal stuff while they're protesting. The protesters doing the illegal shit. Like setting dumpster on fires, walking in the middle of oncoming traffic.
Arson, walking.
Yeah,
jaywalking.
No.
Whatever the charges are running in front of traffic,
not even
the public.
Okay, not even all that. Not even all that. But what if I'm following a ICE car all day and I'm sending the license plate to a group chat and telling them every address he goes to? I'm not interfering with anything. Well, I think that's interfering, but you're not like jumping in front of their car or something.
I don't. Okay, let me. What I'm thinking about here is I don't know how to articulate the charge.
Should we find those people who are doing that and lock them up?
Yeah, I don't think that's acceptable. I don't think following ICE agents all around all day and it's with whistles and stuff.
Yes.
Now, if you see ICE show up and want to blow a whistle, that I'm not even going to do. But if you're going to follow them around, to me, that's very antagonistic. And also, obviously, looking for trouble.
So if you see ICE show up and you start blowing a whistle, you don't think that's interfering in a police investigation?
Well, the whistle's the same thing.
And at what point in time does it finally get charged for harassment?
No, yeah, I was going to say, if they're following, I would think harassment, if the harassment fits, I don't know the legal definitions, but interfering, harassing, antagonizing, there's got to be something. There should be something there. I'll agree with that.
At some point, inciting a riot,
there's no justification for American citizens. There's no justification for the American citizens to be interjecting themselves into federal operations.
Yeah.
They have no business being there at all. They should have no business following them, and they should get in real trouble.
If they're following the ICE agents, yes.
And stuff, that is...
I just want to say real quick, does everyone agree with what Premonition just said?
I didn't hear what she said.
I said
there's no reason to...
There is no justification at all for an American citizen at this time to involve themselves and interject themselves into a federal operation. They need to stay out of it and
I agree
stay
with that.
away.
I think when she says no protesting, she's being a little radical. you
I'm
know,
I'm a little
it's
radical.
base, but
Base. That
but-
means you all agree with my stance on 1A auditors. Yes, that's
yeah.
what's
No.
up. Thank
I
you
saw-
very
Oh,
much.
is this where you're trying to go? Look at
Thank you very
again.
much. 1A auditors are unconstitutional.
No,
I told y'all. I
no,
told y'all.
I said
you
we let people protest,
Go ahead,
but
I
Go
enjoyed
ahead.
that one, Speakeasy.
out.
I was actually, I feel the same way you do, and I
Again,
have for a long
what
time.
federal investigation are 1A auditors
Federal
intruding?
operation, she said, not
Oh.
investigation. She said
Oh.
operation.
Well, what operation are they intruding
The
on? Just coming
post
up to-
office is a federal operation.
Again,
you understand
but
that?
that's where the public's
Oh,
allowed to
yeah.
go.
No, that's a federal operation.
That's where
You
the,
should
no,
public's
that's where the
allowed to go
public's
where they're
allowed to. That's where the
protesting.
public's allowed to
just
go.
agreed you
That's
should
where the
not
pub-
be
I
interfering
didn't
with
agree. I
federal
didn't say anything.
operations.
Actually, I didn't say
No,
anything. You can rewind the
you
clip.
agreed. Yeah, you
I didn't
did.
agree.
Don't even try and
You
get
can
out of it
rewind
now.
the clip. You can rewind the clip.
Get back to the topic. You
No,
guys
now,
just,
hold on.
just
I
take
just
me
want to
out.
be
Get
very
back to
clear.
the topic.
No, in open to public spaces, that's where we operate. Like, am
Yeah,
I
the
not allowed to-
sidewalk's open to
am I-
public
wait,
spaces,
am I
so I
not
can
allowed-
blow my
am-
blowhorn on the sidewalk
Again-
all I fucking want. Then
again, you're allowed to do
Average,
it.
I can
Again,
blow my blowhorn on
you're
the
a-
sidewalk all I want. Then, right?
Again,
Average?
yes, as long as it's not in the
All
middle
right,
of the
Oh,
get
street.
back to it.
no,
Get back
that's
to it.
public disturbance.
You lost this one. You lost this one. It's all right. I win.
I
As
didn't
long
know
as it's not in the
people.
middle of the street, speakeasy.
All right, ladies and gents, I got to be up in 5 hours, so I do have to run. So,
Well, tell them all where to find you then, Wrath of Reason.
all right. You can find me over at the Wrath of Reason. It's a channel. I think I'm live just doing this one right now. I'm looking at getting more into the full-time streaming after a shutdown I'm doing here for work. So probably in about 4 or 6 weeks, I'll be looking at hitting hard into the streaming. So any subscribe or anything like that right now would help out the path and give me a little motivation to get going at it. But
is it
thanks,
called
thank
The
you,
Wrath of
thank you,
Reason?
JS.
Yes, sir.
I thought I might have followed the
Yeah,
wrong
right.
one.
I already
Anyway.
You're such a
But,
dumbass.
Like I said, JS, thanks for kicking my ass and humbling my ass here. Like I came in with an open mind and took my lickings, and that's the best way to get better, I guess. Right? Is to take them and learn. So
Lose to a homeless man.
he's a pretty smart homeless man, though. He's got a really nice computer for a homeless man.
I just carry it around with me. This is just a shed that I
Everywhere, yeah.
go into at night.
Fucking
Puts
pursuit
it
of
in the
happiness style,
shopping
just
cart.
fucking.
He upgraded. He thinks he's fancy because he stole a Fred Meyer's shopping cart.
It's solar powered.
God damn.
All right, everybody, take care. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Take
Yep,
care,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Yep,
But
so-
JS, you did say something during the debate that I totally agree with. If you just change the name, they're just going to change the name on the sign.
yeah.
When they say abolish ICE, what they mean is they want to get rid of ICE. When liberals say abolish ICE, they want to get rid of ICE, get rid of the leadership.
They want open
start a
borders. They
whole
want to
new-
stop deporting people.
Not all liberals. Trust me, I'm not one of them. Like I said, I don't think we should abolish ICE, and I'm a liberal. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the
I
far
think-
leftists. The far leftists totally agree with you. They're psycho. Okay, I'm
Are
not
you
gonna say I'm-
liberal?
It's a
How do we know?
crazy
Let's put
radical.
you to the test.
It's a
Yes, he
crazy
is.
radical idea.
Center
Abolish
left.
ICE.
The farthest left you're gonna get me is on healthcare. I think
Your hair
that
color doesn't seem to match your lips. Your statement.
my what hair color? No, I'm
Your-
like
why
your
is it your hair
I'm like
pink?
your typical Northeast lib, bro. I mean, I came from your Midwestern liberal, bro. I'm I voted Republican for a lot of my life. Mitt Romney. I voted for Mitt Romney. I voted for Trump the first time.
Nice.
I don't know if you're trying to
I
like
don't
make
like
a
hate to the first
defense
time.
something or
No, I'm just trying to tell you that like I'm very much in the center. So like it's basically where I see certain things going.
So
And
why
one
are
gets in-
polls? This is the bullshit about polling. Why are polls saying that this is a popular idea now? That
Because
Because they're
because
paid
when
to.
liberals say abolish ICE, they mean to redo ICE. They don't mean no immigration enforcement. At least half of them, then the other half. And it does like that's why polls can be so misleading because you're not getting the whole
I don't know about all that because, like, the line is you can't steal land or you can't steal land from a land that was
that's
stolen
a
or
that's a
whatever, right?
leftist line.
Is
That's a
it
leftist
though?
line, 100 yeah.
Only?
You ever hear? I mean, for example, I know you guys hate him, but did you ever hear Joe Biden say you can't steal land from stolen people?
No, that shit like you're not
That's
I
black.
don't think Biden
That's like an
remembers if he
AOC
said that.
thing.
Well,
Biden didn't have a brain, you know what I mean? It's kind
But
of
yeah,
not fair.
Biden was in the Senate for 50 years, bro.
Center?
Yeah, he is.
In the Senate.
It's not something that comes
Oh, I
down
thought
from
you
the
said in the
politicians.
center. I was
but
like,
it-
wait a minute.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
those
and
slogans come down from the
people online on the
protest
left.
and the online and the media.
Yeah. And the most impassioned people are going to be the furthest left because they do. I mean,
But when the
about
most
the far left, y'all are totally right. They got nothing to do but protest.
when the loudest, most impassioned
They get
people
paid the
shout
most.
stuff like that all the time and say stuff like that all the time and it gets shown on the media, then the more mild leftists will say stuff like that. They'll say,
No, agreed.
they're just kidnapping
Agreed.
American citizens and they're deporting American citizens and all these other lies that get people killed.
No, agreed. And
Right.
but on the same
That's
side,
right.
like I showed you, also ICE lied about being hit in the head with a rock. So like
So
when it's
what?
going,
I don't even know about that.
that's
story,
what they're
but
gonna. That's what the
do you
people on the
think-
left are gonna say about the other people on the left, and we're never gonna get anywhere.
Maybe he
What
thought
about
he got
how he
hit in the
found
head
it
with a rock.
proved?
Maybe it was an acorn that fell on his head. He thought he was
No,
getting
he
shot
said
at.
he admitted he lied in court.
Oh, okay. Well, he's
Yeah,
out
but-
now.
Maybe it was.
Did he say why he lied? I'm curious.
I didn't get that far. I just saw the judge because the judge like basically was not happy with them at all. Was like, why are
Can't
you
trust
wasting our
anything a
time?
liberal says. I should probably be searching into this, but maybe I'll do it later.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where I was like, I need to hear some sources here. This guy got hit in the head with a rock and he said he fucking lied.
But anyway. Greg Bovino is out now. He's not even running it anymore.
Yeah, but this again, he was in there for quite some time.
Well, yeah, but you're not arguing.
Yeah, he admitted it.
No,
But yeah, no, and so like, but that's the thing. Like, I don't. At some point, something's got to give, and if everyone just keeps fighting, I don't know where we get from here. And I agree, the abolish ICE rhetoric is stupid and pointless, and also divisive.
Yeah.
Were you a Black Lives Matter guy too?
It depends on what you mean by Black Lives Matter.
A Needler? Well, like you're not like
Yeah.
instead of all lives matter, were you just
No,
straight
I
Black
think-
lives matter, not all lives matter? Are you?
I
is that
think
what- is that
I
what you
think
are?
first of all, I think the Black Lives Matter, the actual organization Black Lives Matter, is a joke, and I would never even think about supporting them in my life.
yeah, that shit was famous.
The
The fucking top three donations literally went
Yeah.
to campaigns for
Yeah,
white fucking people.
I
But
hate-
the
so-
idea about police brutality, you support that idea?
the idea that
Systemic
historically
racism.
the idea that historically there has been racism in this country, I don't think is really in doubt. Do I think it's
we should have
Oh,
to
it's
pay
in doubt.
prevalent?
I don't
You don't think?
I don't believe it ever existed. So
Oh, okay.
I quite doubt it.
Are you a reparations guy?
You don't think? No. I think reparations is pointless and just.
Well, how
another
about the
divisive
black?
confront.
How about the black people giving the white people reparations for all the
Dude,
trouble
Marte,
we've
when
had for the
That's
last?
Marte the other
I
night,
got
when he started going on that,
Yeah,
I
you're
hadn't
not
even
gonna-
thought of
you're
that.
not
And
gonna
that
get
he
me on
had
that
me
either.
fucking thinking about it.
No,
I was like,
I would
God,
say
baby,
if they didn't even get anything for the time they worked as slaves, you're not going to get me to go at reparations
Okay.
either way. I think that's again just kind of
How do you feel about tramp
memey
stamps?
and devices.
Are you pro tramp stamps?
I'm indifferent.
Okay. How about OnlyFans models? Fan of them?
I've never been on OnlyFans, so
Okay.
I'm married happily.
Okay. Just was wondering where you're
Could
Anyway.
be an adult film industry. these
Anyway.
days.
just trying to see your degeneracy, the
Well,
left here.
It'd be cool.
I was born and raised Catholic. It's not that degenerate.
I mean,
uh,
you could be. I mean, you could be like like an
he's
evil
a covert
abortionist.
degenerate.
I got to head out.
No.
I got to head out. It'd be cool to talk
Yeah.
to you more cross current. I hear you on Easy's panels while I'm at work, and I'm like yelling at my phone with a lot of the stuff you say. So
Yeah, we'll have to set up something. We'll have to
Hey,
set up
anytime,
something
man.
for sure. Tell
We'll go
everybody
back
where
and
they
forth.
find you.
JS Urban Adventures, YouTube, Monday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes in the morning throughout the week, Bible studies, streams, panels, all the good stuff.
You can't swear during Bible study.
Yeah, don't swear in the chat during the Bible study. I'll mute you.
Oh, shoot. I mean, shoot.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he's a fucking tyrant.
And I
No.
debate and stuff too. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing the World War Contender series, so check that out. We're gonna get to that stage,
That's
boys.
what's up. That's what's up.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. JS Urban Adventures. Go sub up, everybody. Thank you for coming. Did a good job tonight.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Hi, dear.
Good try, Wrath.
Oh.
Good try. Didn't work out for
Appreciate
you,
you,
buddy.
JS.
All right, later. Leave. Okay. Oh. Okay. My stream. Thank you guys for hanging out. I wrote down best arguments. Secret police with a strong enough border. Ideally, we wouldn't need them. So he could have taken like this philosophical path, like we should someday abolish ICE because we should have a Christian nation with a Christian king where there's only straight white Christian people. And in which case we would no longer need ICE. So we should one day abolish. I was like, that's how I would take it. That's the only way I could argue that we should abolish ICE. Yes, we should abolish ICE. Here's how. We have to do a mass extermination and removal process first, and then we should have a perfect homogenous culture and country, and we should abolish ICE at that point. That's the argument that I would make to defend it. And then I had name change, and I said that in my opening. Like I planned, I was like, this is gonna be restructure, name change, or secret police. They have masks on and we don't know who they are. Or here's what I would do. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. God bless. I'm gonna dip. I gotta go to work. Peace. Oh, hold on. Let me raid you. I guess I can raid you to easy. Everybody who hung out. Where is it? There it is. All right. Later, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Peace. Hope you got your submission in. Yeah, I'm already in there like swimwear, buddy. Go check it out. Later, guys.